Part of the draft. She thinks she's in on it. We could use her analysis. Yeah, we could.
All right, let's do it. Oof, this is wild. It's here already. I mean, this. It always sneaks up. Test.
Test. All right, cool. Hey, what's good, fam? How's everybody doing tonight? Kyle Henderson, BamaInsider.com. We'll kick off our draft party in just a few minutes. Thank you very much for joining us. We got Mick Gillespie, we got Tony Sukalis, we got Trey Yanity. We're going to kind of be going in and out and watching the NFL draft with you, so definitely hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. We appreciate you more than you know. Also got some nice red carpet picks in from the NFL draft, which is in Cleveland. So I'm going to throw a couple of those on while we wait for Mick Gillespie to jump on, and then, we'll get things going. If you could do one thing for me, if you could put in who you guys think is going to be drafted 1, 2, and 3 from Alabama in the draft, certainly like to hear from you. We got Mick Gillespie checking on in, and we got the whole crew about ready to go. Here's some nice drip from Mac Jones. I like it. Like the swag that he's got so far. And then I think I got DeVonta Smith as well. You know he's coming with it, of course, right? He's got the drip. Let's check out the audio. Hey, Tony, you there, buddy?
What's up, man? How's it going?
What's up, man? Hey, Tony, see if you can, if you have a little audio booster on yours, you're kind of a little soft. What's up, Mick?
What's up? Ready for a big night?
Yeah. We started a little early, just having fun with it, enjoying the night. And let's see, Tony, try that again, buddy.
Yeah, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Great.
All right. Everyone's all checked in. I don't know why Mick's not at the top. I like to have Mick up at the top. Let's see if we can get him at the top, and then we'll get going. All right, Patrick Fulmer is saying that he's got Mac Jones, and then he's got Smith and Waddle. Okay, I like that. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining us. It's good. We're live. Okay, let's see if we can get Mick on. Hey, Mick, I'm not sure why you're at the top. I think you want to do some rearranging real quick? I think maybe you have to be added as the first person. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I think when for some reason it wouldn't let me log on like I normally do, like where I just click. So I'm like on a desk right now, which is different. So
okay, well, lead from the bottom for now on, man. Open the show up.
Okay, are we ready?
Yeah, we're live. We're just having fun with it. I'm trying to
all right.
Put the draft on over here. So let's get it, man. We got some DeVonta Smith with some drip. We're gonna have Tony for a few opening rounds, and then or a few opening picks, and then we'll coast through the show. So let's start it up.
All right. Hey, welcome to Bama Insider and the Bama Insider YouTube channel. As you have joined our draft party 2021, and we expect to see a lot of Alabama players being selected in this first round. A lot can happen in the next hour as far as the future of the NFL, but this national championship winning Crimson Tide team has a lot of players that we expect to do something spectacular tonight, and that's become millionaires. So we'll be watching and enjoying things should get interesting when the 49ers pick third. He's Kyle Henderson. Kyle is the managing editor of Bama Insider, the Alabama Rivals channel. You know him from BamaInsider.com, the man with all the nuggets and information on the Crimson Tide. Then there's Trey Yanity. I see him second. Look at him hanging out over there, dressed up for the occasion tonight, about to graduate from the capstone and helping us out as always. And then there's our beat writer, Tony Sukalis. He follows Alabama every single day. He knows all the happenings of the football program, including the walk-on fourth-string center. Anything that you need to know about Alabama football, you can read about it with Tony Sukalis at BamaInsider.com. All right, guys, what's up? I mean, like 9 minutes before, well, less than 9 minutes now before Jacksonville's on the clock. And this is going to be very anticlimactic. I saw today Urban Meyer talking with our friend J.P. Shadrick, who helped us do our Bama and the NFL show. The first pick for them is going to be Trevor Lawrence, right?
Oh, no doubt, right, Mick? I mean, that's the no-brainer. Write that in blood. It's definitely going to be Trevor Lawrence, and then probably Zach Wilson right after him. So these first two picks are a little bit anticlimactic, like you said.
You know, I mean, look at the odds for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, minus 10,000 is like it's pretty. Those odds. So kind of getting to what Tony was talking about. I mean, you pretty much got 1 and 2 potentially locked up, but you have Mac Jones, who's sitting at minus 170. And the 49ers, with the third pick, we follow the 49ers at my house. So obviously my son's really excited about the potential for Mac Jones to go to the 49ers. But I want to pose this this question to you guys as we begin the show. With the smoke of Aaron Rodgers saying that he doesn't want to play for Green Bay, are you buying into that? I mean, let's go to you first, Trey, and then we'll kick it back up to Mick to run the point. But, I mean, do you think there's any smoke to that, or do you think that Mac Jones, falls with the 49ers?
A crazy day, usually just because of the NFL draft. But this morning, these headlines with Aaron Rodgers have thrown a whole wrench into this thing. And really for Mac Jones especially, you look at that number 3 pick with the 49ers, it's looking like they were going to take a quarterback. But now, realistically, they could even trade this pick for Aaron Rodgers. He wants to go back to California, end up on the West Coast. San Francisco is in need of a quarterback right now. It would be a really good fit there. Maybe not as likely. We're hearing on Twitter now that the Broncos are close to finalizing a deal with Rodgers potentially. Let's say Mac Jones slides past 3. That slot right there would have been a really good pick for him to be taking, a realistic pick, if nothing else, for Mac Jones. So I don't know exactly how this is going to unfold here in the next probably 15, 20 minutes, but it's going to get really crazy here. And Aaron Rodgers is going to determine a lot of Mac Jones' future. I think realistically, we're probably looking at Mac Jones going number 3. For a while, it sounded crazy that, he would even be a first round pick. But after the Reese Senior Bowl, after this offseason, after everything else you heard this past week about, how his combine numbers were excellent. And these teams are really excited about him over Justin Fields now and over Trey Lance now. I think that number 3 is certainly possible, but we'll see how it shakes out. This Aaron Rodgers deal is gonna change a lot of things here tonight.
Yeah, if it happens. I mean, we're sitting here talking about where Mac would go, and all of a sudden here comes Aaron Rodgers, who has ties to Chico, California, Northern Cal guy, 49er fan. 49ers need a quarterback. Could a colossal deal be made? I mean, the Patriots really want Jimmy Garoppolo, which, by the way, Kyle, your son, he's got the Jimmy Garoppolo 49ers jersey. I mean, what's he going to do at the end of this when who knows who could be there? Could it be Aaron Rodgers? Last year, the Packers picked a quarterback, and they traded for a quarterback in the first round, which really kind of was very interesting, especially when they, were maybe a player away from a Super Bowl this year and not a backup quarterback, So it could be really interesting, to see what happens, if anything. I don't know that the Packers are going to make a move, but the fact that it's all this smoke's coming out on draft day, and there's so many different quarterbacks in this draft. And obviously, the Packers management wasn't happy with Rodgers 2 years ago, enough to go out and get a quarterback. Who knows what can happen? But, so much can take place tonight. And that just kind of throws like a monkey wrench into what's already going to be an interesting evening.
And to get back to what are we going to do if Jimmy Garoppolo heads out of San Francisco and he goes to the wherever he's going to go? All we're going to do is tape over the back of Garoppolo and just write in Jones. We'll see who has the best handwriting out of the family, and then we'll just write Jones on the back, and he'll be number 10. So that's what we'll do for it. But I think when you look at this entire draft, and I know the headlines revolve around Mac Jones because, he is the quarterback, and we like to talk about the quarterback every single day. But on Peter King's of Yahoo Sports, on his latest mock draft, here's where he has Alabama guys going. And there's a lot of guys going that in the first round in his mock draft. And as you can see, from 3 to 10, I mean, those are the first top picks. You have, Mac Jones, Jaylen Waddle, Patrick Surtain II. When you kind of look at this, I mean, what's your take on this mock draft? I know you've, been all over the draft. I don't know if you've seen this particular one from Peter King, but what's kind of your take on, all these guys going in the first round? I mean, it seems unrealistic, but then again, it's Alabama. So, NFL is built by Bama.
It's certainly possible. This would give Alabama the record because this would be 7. The record obviously was by Miami in, 2004 with 6. So this would be great. It would be a great night for Alabama if this happened. This is kind of where I see a lot of these guys. I mean, Mac Jones to San Francisco at number 3. I think that's something that, has been talked about for a while. I like the idea of Jaylen Waddle going to number 6. I think we're starting to see him above DeVonta Smith. I'm not sure I agree with that if I was a GM, but I do see when you look at that speed and that playmaking ability of Waddle, he really has something that maybe no other receiver in the draft has. So I can see that. Man, if the Cowboys stay at 10, it seems like Patrick Surtain is the locked-on pick there. It just makes the most sense there. I think New England would be really fortunate to land DeVonta Smith at 15. That'd be a little bit of a fall for him. Pittsburgh, Najee, I've been hearing that a while. Those last two picks, that's kind of optimistic. But I mean, look, you look at Baltimore, they have 2 picks in the first round. They're a team that always picks Alabama players, so Landon Dickerson might make sense there. And then Christian Barmore at 32. Christian Barmore is the weirdest, the biggest wild card, I think, in this whole draft, because, you look at him, and I've seen him mocked anywhere from like 17 to early 3rd round. So really kind of interested to see where he goes. This is totally possible. Maybe even throw in Alex Leatherwood as a really far out chance of making the first round as well. So it's possible Alabama sees some history tonight.
Very well could happen. As you guys hang out with us, this is our draft party. You're doing it with us here on Bama Insider and BamaInsider.com on the YouTube channel. We're watching, really, I'll be honest with you, we're watching to see where the Alabama players go. But we're not going to dismiss everything else that's going on with the draft tonight. I'm on DraftKings right now, Kyle, and Mac Jones is plus 125 to be taken by the 49ers. But don't look now. Trey Lance from North Dakota State is minus 150 to possibly be that 3rd pick. This is really interesting. Justin Fields is plus 600. So Trey Lance, according to these guys, is the favorite right now to be taken by the 49ers. Does that surprise you guys?
I think it's surprising, but if you look at the grand scheme of things and the way that we've been covering this draft and talking about these players, it's really not, because Trey Lance was the clear-cut number 3 guy, I think, for quite some time. And then Mac Jones, really in these last few months has made a push for it and kind of worked himself into that conversation even. So if you had told me that maybe 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I don't think it's a surprise in the least. But with the way things have kind of shaken out here, I would be a little bit surprised if Mac Jones isn't the 3rd quarterback taken. You look at a lot of these mock drafts and you'll see Trey Lance, Zach Wilson kind of going that 2-3 there. But, if you think about it, why? Mac Jones was throwing to Jerry Jeudy at times, or this past season throwing to Jaylen Waddle, throwing to DeVonta Smith, had some awesome targets, John Mechie as well. But you look at the way that he was able to dot the football and throw the deep ball so well. That is what NFL teams are looking for. It doesn't matter, who is your receiving core. They're all going to be NFL receivers. And I heard a great point this week. How many times do you think back this last season when Mac Jones was playing, even back to that Auburn game and the Citrus Bowl there, how many times did you see the receiver have to make an incredible catch? You didn't very often. Mac Jones was throwing to elite talent, but he was usually putting it right on the money. And, we had this conversation a lot during Heisman time. Was it Mac Jones maybe even making DeVonta Smith into what he was this year? So I think it would be a little bit surprising just because of the projectability of these two and what I think we'll see in the NFL. I don't think it would be a good move to take Trey Lance before Mac Jones, but I could see it happening. It wouldn't be too much of a stunner, just considering what these teams have thought about for so long now.
Well, let me say this, guys. Officially, the Jacksonville Jaguars are on the clock right now with the first selection of the 2021 draft. I don't think there's really any intrigue to this. Trevor Lawrence is going to be taken first. We saw him play against Alabama in the national championship game. And honestly, in that game, he was as good as you could possibly be as a quarterback. I like this guy, and I want to get your opinion on him as well. But he's a leader. He's tough. He can run. He can throw the football. He also is, a good person too. You get the feel that if you're building an organization like Urban Meyer is from the ground up, you want someone that kind of represents your team and ownership the right way. And I'll start with you, Tony. I feel like you can't go wrong with Trevor Lawrence in so many different areas. He's an easy first pick.
Oh, I think, when you go for character, I think, they're all great kids up at the front. I think you look at all those 5 quarterbacks, they all seem like great kids to me. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence is a guy that he's established in every way. He's established as as a product on the field, but also he's a guy that you don't probably have to worry about, in terms of being the leader of your franchise as well. So I think you get that with Mac Jones. I think you get that with Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson. I think it's a good group of quarterbacks.
He wanted to be like Peyton Manning, right? That's why he wears number 16, Trey. I mean, you know about it from being a South Carolina native. And he comes to Clemson. Tennessee was just honestly, it was just such a train wreck. He couldn't go there and follow his football idol. And he goes to Clemson and, he wins, does really nothing but win. And honestly, I feel like had he not gotten COVID this year, he would have been a real contender for the Heisman. And here he is in position to be the first pick in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this kid's story, and it's unfortunate for Tennessee fans because he really did love Tennessee. It was never really Clemson. That was his second option. Decides to go there, and, we saw it from the jump. We saw it when Alabama played Clemson in San Francisco that year. This kid was really special. It's not just his size, it's not just his arm. It's everything about his game. And the fact that he is dual threat and a sneaky kind of dual threat. And like you're saying, if he doesn't catch COVID, if he plays in that Notre Dame game, probably Clemson's biggest game of their season, the regular season at least, they probably win that game. And, his momentum towards the Heisman is really rolling at that point. Still a finalist even without it. But, an excellent college career. He's engaged now. I think he's going to get married pretty soon. He's about to get a crazy signing bonus, go number 1 overall. And I think, really have a chance to thrive in Jacksonville. It's going to be a warm weather city. He's going to have Urban Meyer as his head coach. I think it's a good situation. The Jets would have been fine. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to thrive wherever he ends up. But I think this is a much better fit than, the New York Jets would have been if they had lost all 16 like we thought they would.
Kyle, if I started yelling Duval, would you know what I was talking about?
Duval.
Duval. If you go to Jacksonville, it's in Duval County, and people just scream Duval all the time. So someone in Florida gets what I'm saying right now. Duval's about to get on the football map because they're about to take Trevor Lawrence. They have a ton of picks in this draft. And Urban Meyer, even though he's never coached in the NFL, this guy has just a certain swag to him. We've seen guys go to the college, go to NFL back and forth and win titles in both places. Nick Saban tried the NFL, didn't get the quarterback that he wanted, right? And then ended up leaving. But Barry Switzer, Oklahoma, Dallas won a championship at both places. He kind of inherited the team in Dallas. I'm not saying that he's one of the all-time greats, but Jimmy Johnson, who was the architect behind Miami and then built that Dallas dynasty, did it. And we also saw it with Pete Carroll, USC, and then with the Seahawks. Urban Meyer is trying to follow that same thing. Can you imagine winning national championships at multi-schools in college and then going into the NFL and figuring out a way to do it? People would be yelling Duval all the time, man, maybe across this country.
People might be yelling Tebow in Duval from what we've been hearing. Did you guys see that today?
Yeah,
they were talking about Tim Tebow and Trevor Lawrence somehow linking up in Duval and playing a little football. And now I guess Tim Tebow is a tight end, right?
Yeah.
So Tebow is never going to let this dream of being in the NFL leave. And now I am like, full on. If this guy wants it bad enough, because I'm all about that. Look, if you want something bad enough in life, all you got to do is keep chasing it. And this guy has just not given up. Look, Tony's like, how old is Tebow? I don't know how old Tebow is.
33.
Tebow's 33?
Man.
33 years old. And he's been an NFL quarterback. He's been a minor league baseball player. Why not a tight end?
I was going to say, is the minor league baseball, is that dream over now? Is he giving up on this? Why has he waited so long to make the position change? I think is my big thing here. If he was going to do it, just do it in Denver, whatever else. But I'm not going to say I'm not here for it. I think it would be kind of cool.
Tebow was available as a free agent quarterback, and Jacksonville would have been such a great fit for him. But they didn't want to do it. They were worried because, obviously he had some limitations at quarterback throwing the football. But can you imagine the amount of tickets that you would have sold had Tim Tebow been in Jacksonville? It's a franchise they were an expansion franchise I remember when that expansion draft was going on. And then before that, because Baltimore, where I'm from, was in the mix to try to get a team. That was before Cleveland came. And when Jacksonville and Carolina both got teams, Jacksonville was that place where people were like, are you kidding me? I mean, this is going to be an NFL city. They've always kind of been like a smaller NFL city. They play a lot of their games over in London now, which has been a really good fit for them because, let's be honest. I mean, Jacksonville isn't one of the bigger cities in this country, but I'll tell you what, people do embrace the team there, and having Urban Meyer, and you add a Tim Tebow into the mix, you start selling tickets, could be a fun mix. Now, I don't think that they're ever going to overshadow the Florida Gators and the Georgia Bulldogs and Alabama as far as college goes. But at the same time, when you look at Nashville, which is still an SEC city, you look in Atlanta, that's an SEC city. They still embrace their NFL teams. The Jaguars have always tried to kind of get that North Florida momentum that they really have never been able to garner. And you add a Tim Tebow into the mix with this team that they're going to have, all of a sudden it just starts to feel like, and I'm not sure how he's going to play, but it starts to feel like a story that everyone wants to cover, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's interesting. I don't know if he's going to make it as a tight end. And he is 33. Hasn't been in the league. I mean, he's been in baseball, closer to now than he has been in football. But it's a story that, like Kyle said, you root for, right? I mean, Tim Tebow's a likable guy, and like Kyle said, you admire someone that doesn't want to give up on their dream. But look, he's with his, like you said, he's with his college coach, and he's a guy that I mean, we know he has athletic ability, so maybe he could be a tight end. Look, that's a position that people were saying that he could play out of college, so. Who knows? I mean, I don't want to count him out because I think everyone here is rooting for him.
If for some crazy reason Jacksonville picked someone else, I mean, and I can't imagine that happening. I don't even know why I'm throwing this out there, but just for the sake of our draft show, who would it be? Who would you take instead of Trevor Lawrence if you were the Jags in this spot? Maybe you make a trade for
I know exactly who you'd take. You'd take Nick Saban. Look, there's nobody else that you could take that's remotely better than Trevor Lawrence. Look, I look, cover Alabama. All these guys from Alabama are going to do great, blah, blah, blah. There's two guys that I'm really curious outside of Alabama when you look at this NFL draft. I look at Kyle Pitts. I have a tremendous amount of respect for his game. I think that kind of in this new world of NFL where you can get the tight end kind of out on the edge and he can make you miss and he can do different things and he has that prototypical size that we're all looking for. I certainly think that Kyle Pitts is a guy that I'm really excited about just to see how he develops. I am curious for when we have all these quarterbacks in the room and we're looking at all these quarterbacks. I'm still going to question the overall ability of Justin Fields. And that's not because I cover Alabama or anything. I just have a lot of question marks about him. I think that he has received some positive remarks, from his, NFL scouting combine and whatnot. I mean, let's face it, they all do because they're not playing an actual game. But when we saw Ohio State play this past season, and granted, would they play like 6 or 7 games? It wasn't too exciting for me. I didn't see a lot of upside from him. So I think when I look to, guys with a ton of upside, I look to Kyle Pitts, and this is outside of Alabama. And when I look to guys that I'm still questioning until they actually have productivity in the NFL, that's Justin Fields.
Trey, your favorite Kings of Leon song. They're performing right now at the NFL draft.
Man, if I knew a Kings of Leon song, I would. Come on, man. But it's not really my style. I don't know. Maybe I need to get more.
Help him out. Tony, jump in. What favorite Kings of Leon song?
I just need to hear it. Maybe,
Currently Googling Kings of Leon.
Okay. All right, next question. All right, let's. How long is it going to take for each of these teams to pick, though? I mean, and I'm being serious about this. Like, what is the countdown clock between each pick? Are we ready for the first pick here from Cleveland? It looks like we might be.
What the hell is Jacksonville have to wait, for? I mean, it's like I get it. In the first couple songs, look, I'm not a musician, But, I have ears, and the first couple songs that they belted out, they were a little rough on the pipes. I don't know if it was kind of because COVID was, kind of dumb things down or whatever, but, they're kind of rough out of the gates. I don't know. It's so funny. So we're watching the game, or we're watching the draft on on my TV in my office, and we have YouTube TV. So we're a little delayed, but the screen for whatever on YouTube TV has gone to like a quarter of the size of our TV. So it's like up in the tiny box. So it's like watching a phone from like 15 feet away.
Here we go to the microphone.
Here we go. Okay.
The commission.
Mac Jones. In a surprise, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Jacksonville native Mac Jones.
This is our live feed. I think Roger Goodell, didn't he? He came out and said that he got the vaccine so he could physically hug.
Yeah, there's gonna be hugs apparently.
Yeah. Remember last year he was just posted up on his couch and his grandfather's sweater on his couch.
The best part of last year's draft was when the guy got drafted and his girlfriend was taking up too much of the screen time, and his mom came.
I think she took his phone, right? Yeah, that's what it was. She took his phone.
Yeah,
and then he took it right from her.
That was a weird.
And he gave her a look or something.
But that's real, man. That was real. I love that.
That was just last year's draft in general. So many different weird things that were happening in these people's homes and whatever. Not every player's here at this draft, but it is going to be a lot more normal this year.
Puppy was making picks for the Pats. A little husky puppy.
Here we go.
That's so anticlimactic, though. I mean, Trevor Lawrence is already signing deals to they're based out of Jacksonville for companies and stuff. There's no chance that he's not taken. And I feel as far as the NFL draft is concerned, that this pick is this is one of the easiest first round picks that we've had in a long time.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he's being compared to Andrew Luck, who is also a slam dunk for the Colts. So yeah, you can't go wrong with Trevor Lawrence. And when you have a player like that, it becomes you're afraid not to pick him because if you don't want to be the team that didn't pick Trevor Lawrence, right? So I think it's a case of it's just so obvious. You just don't mess it up.
And I think, kind of going back in the NFL draft, I mean, you guys have to help me out here, but has there been a projected number one pick for the last 4 years like Trevor Lawrence was, right? When he first started playing, everyone was he's going to be the first round draft pick. And then here we are. It felt like every single year we're just waiting for him to go to the NFL. I mean, who is the last player who kind of had that same he's a definite number one? Do you guys know that?
Really? I mean, Andrew Luck, right?
Yeah. But Peyton Manning went back to school to play another year when and to win a Heisman and all that stuff, and he didn't have to. I think he still would have been the first round pick, the first pick. All right, let me ask you guys this. Tony did a really good story on BamaInsider.com, and basically he talked about in the story every NFL team and how many Alabama players they've drafted since Nick Saban's been head coach. And ironically or not, my Baltimore Ravens were number one on that list, right? They had the most Alabama players drafted. That's not why I'm a Ravens fan, but it is part of it, right? Now, Ozzie Newsome was their GM for a long time and still in the front office. Who's your favorite team, and how many guys have been drafted by them out of Alabama? Kyle.
Okay, well, I mean, I have it right here on the screen. It was the 49ers. And I think it's kind of interesting because I read that article. By the way, that was a great piece, Tony. Must have took a ton of time kind of under the Saban era because every year he's sending out 14 guys, right? The 49ers, they only have a couple guys, but what's interesting, and this isn't my team, but I do follow Jalen Hurts because I respect his craft. The Eagles never drafted a player under Alabama in the Saban era. Jalen Hurts was drafted from Oklahoma. Tony and I talked about this privately, and we thought that, we like to get your feedback inside the comment box. Jalen Hurts obviously built by Bama, but he was drafted from Oklahoma. Right?
Trey?
Just make sure. All right. So go ahead, Trey.
Yeah, no, that Jalen Hurts one is really weird too. And honestly, I don't really have a a clear-cut favorite NFL team. I'm huge into fantasy football and all that. So that's really where I don't know. I make my money. But that article was excellent to just think about the spread of players all over the place, and you're starting to see them in bunches all over the place now. Former Nick Saban players. I saw the stat today, and I'm sure it was brought up this week at some point. Nick Saban has had 33 first-round draft picks. He has lost 23 times at Alabama. That is an incredible number.
Yeah, no doubt. And I'm looking at the graphic right now, and we nailed two of the guys that they've compared this pick to, with Peyton Manning as a number 1 overall pick, and you guys were talking about it, and Drew Lock. Sorry, both
Andrew
of those.
Andrew Luck.
Sorry, yeah, both of those kind of along the same lines, or they were going to be number 1 as soon as they went into the NFL draft, and we knew it for a long time. And both really good quarterbacks. Ironically, one replaced the other one. So, how could that have happened? But I don't accept that answer, Trey, that you don't have an NFL team. So we're going to assign you the Carolina Panthers. All right, Tony, your favorite NFL team, and how many NFL guys?
What a punishment for Trey.
It's my hometown team, so I'll take it. I'll wrap it there. Let's keep pounding. I think it's the thing.
Keep pounding. Okay.
All right.
No, my dad's from Boston, so I adopted all the New England teams for myself. So it's the New England Patriots are my favorite team. They've drafted 6 players. Only one in the first round, Dante Hightower, but they're second behind Mick's Baltimore Ravens with 6. And obviously the relationship between Bill Belichick and Nick Saban, they're pretty much best friends. So you'd expect it. You expect New England to pick, quite a few amount of Alabama players. And they have mostly in like the middle rounds, but they still have.
Well, we're 7 minutes and change away from the Jaguars running out of time. I don't know why they're wasting time and just not making this pick, because this one and the next one, there's no chance that they're not going to take these quarterbacks.
Wait, so Trevor Lawrence is not at the draft.
I can't tell if he is there.
No, I don't think he is. I don't think he's there. No,
he's not at the draft. What?
Okay, would you guys be at the draft, or would you just be like with your family though? Because I feel like
draft.
I'd be at the draft.
I would. So you can do both. Bring the family to the draft.
Yeah,
I know, but you could have like a really cool house party, like have more people there. I don't know. I think I might be with my family. I get the whole wearing a cool suit, but I don't know.
I don't know. I'd be living it up. I have the freshest suit on. I'd be like, look, all you family members, you guys catch me on TV. I'll help you guys out with a couple $1,000s or more than that when I get back. But I'd be at the draft. In this case, I'm surprised that Trevor Lawrence isn't there. I think there's several guys from Alabama that are there. I saw Christian Barmore. We have a picture of him in his tux. It's not really of his tux. It's more of him in his mask. I'll pull that up now. Okay, he kind of went like more business approach and nothing too flashy, right?
Right.
I like the tie though. The tie is, we can zoom in on the tie. That's nice. Why don't you break that down?
It's kind of like a red belt if you.
That tie's awesome,
right?
I wonder if that came from the T-Town Tom over at the University Mall, right? A lot of great suits have.
Tony, what's the story on him? Doesn't DeVonta get his suits like specifically tailored from some guy in Louisiana or something?
No. Just his mentor Vincent. He picks him out for him. So most of the time,
barber, right?
Yeah. If DeVonta is looking fly, it's probably Vincent Sanders. That's behind it. So
look at that.
I love that.
That's probably all Vincent. I haven't gotten confirmation yet, but that's
Does this beat the Heisman outfit?
I like the Heisman. Was it like that, like crimson and yeah? No, I like the Heisman one a little bit better, but this one's nice.
The Slim Reaper. As you guys hang out with us, thumbs up and subscribe to the Bama Insider YouTube channel.
Look at that drip.
The velvet. I forgot it was velvet.
It was velvet. Yeah, you can't beat.
It was velvet, man.
Come on.
If anybody can rock the velvet, it's DeVonta Smith. Look at that. That's just like the most fly, like class picture. Look at that velvet on it, man.
Yeah,
he's a fan of the bow tie.
Yeah. In fact, it might be the same bow tie.
It's a big bow tie, not the
bow tie fan.
The smaller style. But
would you rock the bow tie if you were there, or would you rock the regular tie?
I do a regular tie.
I'm regular tie. I'm team regular tie. Yeah.
I'm going bow. I don't know.
I don't even know. It's full disclosure. I don't know how to tie a bow tie. So
Mac Jones is like dialed into the draft. He's got his headphones on. He's got the bows. He's got, it's more of a, I might be, kind of, feeling a little bit more on the dad side of things with that tie. I mean, I don't know. What's your guys' breakdown of this one?
It's kind of a boring look.
Right? It is. Thank you.
It is, yeah. Maybe the tie pops from the front or something, but
No,
it's a little better.
All right.
It's a little boring, but it's kind of on brand. I think a lot of people, kind of feel he's a little bit boring. So.
To me, I mean, that looks like it came from Belk University Mall.
Jesus.
What's wrong with that? I mean,
that did come from Belk. Thank you very much. That came straight from Belk.
there used to be a store called Gafers in there. Maybe it came from there too. I've been rolling the University Mall in Tuscaloosa for many, many years. So they tore the old mall down on the other side over there by Walmart. I'll tell you, man, like this is interesting. Barmore has all of a sudden he's taken a lot of heat about not being coachable and work ethic. Nick Saban jumped out and kind of took up for him a little bit. Surprised at all, Tony, that he's kind of taken some heat like that. And I mean, you never know where it comes from in these drafts, right? You don't know who's the one that's putting this out. I mean, could be opposing agents. You just don't know. But you wonder if it's gonna push him out. Now he expects to be drafted in the first round, or they wouldn't bring him there.
Yeah, and he's kind of a fringy guy. Like I said, I think I've seen him go as high as I've seen him mocked around the Raiders at 17, and then I've seen him mocked in the second round. I think when you're looking at Christian Barmore, you're looking at potential. You're hoping to get Quinnen Williams without having to spend the top 5 pick that Quinnen Williams was. So you're kind of like taking a little bit of a chance, but there's a high reward to that chance. So as far as him being uncoachable, I haven't heard that. And if Nick Saban's going to speak out against that, then obviously he doesn't feel that as well. So I don't know. Sometimes these things get brought up. I mean, shoot, it could be something that gets brought up by a team that wants to draft Christian Barmore, and then they kind of want to put out a smokescreen and maybe try to get him in the first round. I have no idea, but I don't think that's the concern. I think if he doesn't get drafted in the first round, I don't necessarily think it'll be that reason. I think it might just be because he's a little bit more raw and needs to polish his skills a little bit. But he definitely has the possibility to go in the first round.
Remember when Saban said asked if about the candy striper?
Hold on.
Yeah,
The pick is in, guys.
That means we're probably going to get it in like 10 minutes, though.
Yeah.
Well, the pick's in. I just saw where the Jaguars front office was celebrating. They were clapping. We had a live look in their football stadium. They have fans out on the field. They're ready to celebrate. So, I mean, I'm expecting Roger Goodell to hit that microphone at any time, right?
And address Mac Jones as the first pick of the draft.
Yeah, here we go. Big moment for Mac Jones right now.
Yeah, here it is. Jacksonville native Mac Jones about to get picked by the Jaguars. Surprise!
The hometown connection there.
Yeah, shock the world. Shock the world, Jacksonville.
This
is what I hate about the draft. They say the pick is in, but it is like obviously if it is in, why are we waiting? And also, why did we take the full 10 minutes?
Yeah, what was that? I mean, come on.
And also, like they made us wait the 10 minutes. That's cool, I guess. But like, what's going on now? Like the pick is in. Now we're gonna probably go to commercial. Probably talk for 5 more minutes.
And I think that's what it is. I mean, just like you said, I think it's just it's about the commercial cuts that they have to deal with. But I mean, it's like the pick is in. People are like really freaked out about who it's going to be. They have this huge boardroom. They got the Jaguars in the stands with the pop-ups.
The draft doesn't need to be 3 hours long. It just doesn't.
It really doesn't.
Can we just get this done in like a sharp 2 hours? It would be great.
I know the next question I'm going to pose to you guys is I see Roger Goodell head to the podium here is why Jaguars? I mean, is there a Jaguar in Jacksonville? I mean, like, how does that even make sense?
Yeah, they're native.
I mean, we can't. I mean, the mascots. Are you kidding me? I mean, you want to know something really? I mean, here's the pick. The pick is in. Okay. I think you might be ahead of us, Mick. You might be. Are you?
Okay. I'm seeing Roger Goodell right now at the microphone.
It's Trevor Lawrence. Trevor
Lawrence has just been selected with the first overall pick in the 2021 NFL draft, and he'll try to figure out exactly why the Jaguar is Jacksonville's mascot. But he is.
Trevor Lawrence wearing jet green, knowing full well that he was going to be picked by the Jaguars, was a bold move.
Yeah, very interesting.
Nice house party going on at his house. Jets are on the clock, by the way, so they have 7 minutes to make their next selection. So no surprise. I'm watching as Trevor is, kind of been waiting for this moment for a long, long time, being congratulated and hugged by his family. And Jacksonville takes one step to try to become a legitimate franchise.
Yeah, I think, when you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, I think how many do they have another first round pick, right? I think it's later on in the draft. So you look at the new coach, Urban Meyer, you look at this pick, Trevor Lawrence. I mean, obviously, all the components and all the tools that Trevor Lawrence has. I mean, he should be obviously a day one impact player, and the tools that they have around him. I mean, they have a decent running game. We'll see what the defense can do. But I don't know, is a new coach, is Trevor Lawrence. I'll tell you one thing, if anything, they're certainly going to put people in the stands, right? I mean, Florida's at full capacity. I'm sure they're going to be, ready to go by the start of the season. So who's not going to want to see Trevor Lawrence? And it's going to be always interesting to track every Sunday. I mean, he's certainly going to be someone who generates headlines, and I think he's going to be productive. I mean, I kind of have to take a glance at their wide receiving unit once again. But I mean, Trevor Lawrence, he's been really productive at Clemson, and, he's of course had some highly touted wide receivers, but I think he's going to be he's going to be very productive. What do you guys think?
I think, is Trevor Lawrence the best player to ever play for the Jaguars right now?
Could be. I don't know. Leonard Fournette, that one playoff run was
Baselli. What's his name? Tony Baselli, the offensive lineman.
Trevor Lawrence might already be in the Jaguars Hall of Fame as we speak.
It's just crazy to look back. They just showed all the quarterbacks that they had before. And, this is just such a step up. It has to be so fun to be a Jags fan right now. To think that Urban Meyer is going to be standing on your sideline coaching your team, and you're going to get to watch Trevor Lawrence play as well. They're going to sell a lot of apparel. I would be shocked if they don't have this stuff just ready to go, because we've known that this was going to be the pick for a long time. But now number 2 gets kind of interesting. I think Zach Wilson is probably the clear-cut number 2 here, but maybe this is where a Mac Jones slides in and surpasses them. It's looking like the Jets are going to select Wilson, but you never know. This one gets a little bit more interesting.
Prayers to the Jones family that doesn't happen, because going to the Jets is a death blow to any young aspiring quarterback. So
right, I see Marty Smith has been invited to Trevor Lawrence's house. Love Marty Smith, but the accent, is that how people in Virginia talk? Because
man,
I think it's manufactured.
Why you gotta go like that?
I'm asking.
That would be so rude. Come on, man.
Yeah, come on, Mick. Get out of here with that, Mick.
I mean,
don't do Marty Smith like that.
I don't know, man. I just think it's all manufactured.
Look, I've seen Marty Smith a couple times, right? Out on, doing his thing, highly respected guy. The only thing that I really have a problem with, and there's not much. I mean, I don't know him from anyone else. The only time is we'll be waiting for Nick Saban to have these press conferences, right? And we'll be hoping for a really good question, so we could either get it up on the side or whatever. He'll ask this really far off question about the maturity of leadership and how leadership affects the heart and how the heart affects the world and how the world deep. He gets deep, and I get it. He's aiming for something. In fact, who did he ask about? He asked about the Gonzaga, the guy who made the game winning shot, a couple days before the NCAA championship. So look, that's my only it's not even beef. It's just when we're looking for Saban, we're looking for specific sound bites, but I don't.
That's all national media, though. I mean,
no, I'm right there with you. I don't think I have anything against Marty Smith. Maybe the hairspray industry might, just because of the amount that he uses every single day. No, but
I'm telling you guys, if Marty Smith, I just imagine being an avid listener to our podcast. I just want him to know that I'm okay with you, Marty. I appreciate you the way that you are.
Hey, Trey, you've been through broadcasting school at Alabama. They try to tell you not to have an accent. This guy's from Virginia, and he sounds like he's got a deeper accent than anybody I know.
He came up covering NASCAR. That's what he's supposed to be.
His brand, he was the NASCAR guy. Yeah. He's covered Clemson a lot. He's covered this program a lot. I think it really works. And, I think the voice is awesome. Your voice really matters in this industry. But as long as you got the context behind it, I think that's what really counts. And he has done an incredible job.
He's at the Trevor Lawrence party. For the record, I like Marty Smith. I just when I heard that, I figured he was from down here in L.A. and lower Alabama. I heard that accent, and when I saw Virginia, I was kind of surprised. But you know what? I mean, he's at the party, and we're sitting here having our own party. Sorry to throw some shade on Marty tonight, but but yeah. I really do like him. I just had to do that. All right, look, the Jets are on the clock right now. The Jets pick is in, and it looks like, although I don't think it's official yet, but we know that it's going to be Zach Wilson from BYU. Watched Zach Wilson a couple of times. And I know, Tony, you're about to step out. Let me ask you this, Tony.
Sure. Yeah.
Just kind of hit on Wilson a little bit. I saw him play this year for BYU. I also had a friend that was that was actually on his football team a couple of years ago. The Hannemans, their son played for the Cubs, and Howard Hanneman, their dad, and I are good buddies. So he had a son that played at BYU. He kept telling me about this guy, and it turns out that he's going to be the second pick in the draft. He's really good.
Yeah, so he's a guy we haven't seen a lot of, but from what we have seen, he's been really great. He's got an electric arm. He can also really move too. So he's got that dual threat ability that you like. And look, you saw the throw he made on his pro day was an absolute laser. He's not afraid to gun it either. I don't know if that's going to result in interceptions. He's kind of like a little bit of a risk, but as far as just arm talent and dual threat ability, I think he's a really dynamic player and definitely a big time prospect at the quarterback position.
Well, here we go. It's about to be official. The Jets traded Sam Darnold, their quarterback, to the Panthers. So, we knew that they were going to take a quarterback with this pick because they obviously made that move to open the door to be able to go get this guy. And Kyle, I think this is a pretty good pick. You'd question sometimes the schedule that BYU played, but at the same time, if you can play this position and you can play that quarterback position, you make your team better like he did. As it's official, and Zach Wilson has just been selected as quarterback of the Jets. It could be, maybe he's the next what was Jim McMahon? You remember Jim McMahon?
Yeah. I remember Jim McMahon, but the best quarterback from BYU was Steve Young.
Steve Young, yeah. And Steve
Young was a lefty, out of BYU, and obviously, Steve Young, me following the 49ers, but he didn't go to the 49ers right away. He went for BYU. I think he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, right? And then he went from Tampa Bay to the San Francisco 49ers, where he had a remarkable career. In fact, if you're ever just checking out NFL highlights, I love to go back and just kind of watch, guys from the past, because the NFL is the NFL, right? Check out Steve Young's highlights. One of the most underrated quarterbacks, at least in my opinion. Big-time lefty, had dual threat ability. Getting to this young man, Zach Wilson, didn't see too much of him play. I think we all watched him play when BYU went up against Coastal Carolina, right? Remember that? That was awesome.
Yeah, we were sitting right through that bullet, right down the middle in the last play of the game.
And look, I think when you look at quarterbacks, and I was talking to an NFL analyst who kind of breaks down all this, and he was like, look, it doesn't really matter the competition. I don't know if I agree with that, but that's what he was saying. He was kind of all down to mechanics and throwing motion, the ability of the overall quarterback. And I get that. Be curious to see how he does with the Jets. As Tony said before he bounced out, it's been a tough place to go for quarterbacks in the past, but the past doesn't necessarily dictate the future. So, best wishes to the young man going from BYU, where he did a great job, to New York. Has I don't know what type of weapons he has with the Jets. Probably not a lot, but as you can see, from their breakdown right here, loose and natural thrower, special off the platform. So let's see what Zach Wilson can do in the NFL.
Be really interesting because, going back to the way that the season went for the Jets last year, it looked like they were going to be the team that lost every game and ended up with the first pick, right? Which would have been Trevor Lawrence. And New York Jet fans weren't happy when the Jets won a couple of games late in the season. I guess the reason why I'm bringing this up is, first off, they're going to end up with Wilson instead of Trevor Lawrence. But say they had lost all of those games, I wonder if the Jacksonville Jaguars would have took hometown kid and Alabama quarterback Mac Jones with the second pick if they were in that spot. And you can see how this draft kind of unfolds just based off of, where the order is and who's selected, right? So the Jets really liked Wilson. They got him, and and then I mean, here we are watching his highlights, and I mean, this guy can throw the football. But what would have happened to Mac? If another Wilson, by the way, that can that can touch the ball downfield. But it's weird how this thing kind of just shuffles out based off of like one game in the NFL.
It's really crazy to think there's these mock drafts for months and months, but even just a certain pick can change everything about a draft. I think if the Jaguars had lost less games than the Jets get Trevor Lawrence, they probably look at the same analytics and everything else and determine, from there. I like the hometown idea. I think that adds a layer to it, but I think they may still go with Wilson there. But, on the other side of that coin, you can't look at this and think, if Zach Wilson is a bust in New York or has a bad rookie season and Mac Jones, goes crazy at his spot, whether that's San Francisco or wherever it may be, you got to take it into context because this Jets team is not very good, obviously. They probably were the worst team in the NFL this past season. It's a much more difficult situation to go into than, a Mac Jones who's going to have guys all the way around him. That San Francisco 49ers team was just in the Super Bowl a season ago. So, if you're Mac Jones, yes, you want to go number 1 or number 2, but you're probably way better off to go number 3 to the 49ers because this situation is going to be a lot more favorable.
Hey, guys, let me reset this real quick. And again, thanks for joining us here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. We are growing like crazy, and it's because of you, and we appreciate you guys hanging out with us for the watch party tonight as we take an eye on the NFL draft and just talk about it as it goes on. Thumbs up and subscribe as you hang out with us tonight. We're waiting right now to find out what the 49ers are going to do. And don't forget, if you love Alabama and you want to find the best coverage on the Crimson Tide, it's really easy to find Alabama's rival site, BamaInsider.com. All right, guys. We got Trey Lance as the betting favorite on VegasInsider.com. Over Mac Jones, slight difference. Justin Fields, 3rd. Kyle Pitts, 4th. Zach Wilson, obviously just drafted, so he's off the board now. Trey Lance, according to this site that I'm looking right now, is the favorite to get this spot. But I feel like Mac Jones is destined to go to the 49ers. Kyle, you follow this team. Your son's a big fan. I don't know, man. I mean, could there be a swap with this pick instead of taking Mac Jones? Do you see Trey Lance having a shot at this?
I mean, yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I think when you look at each of these quarterbacks, I think, all NFL GMs have, some really important things to go over. Now, check this out, okay? This was in January of 2020. You mentioned my son, right, Caden? You're out there, Caden, what's up? So, Caden, take him to Panda Express. Guess who's up at Panda Express? Mac Jones, okay? Mac Jones at Panda Express with his lady friend, his girlfriend. And I'm like, yeah, after they're done, you can go and ask him if they want a picture. So look at this foreshadowing. If Mac Jones ends up going to the Niners, this is going to be one hell of a picture. Right?
Oh, because
he's going there. And the first thing that Mac Jones was like, he's like, man, love Jimmy Garoppolo and his game, blah, blah. We had no idea, number one, that Mac Jones is about to put together this 4,500-yard perfect season. And, he got a pick, and I'm sure, it means a lot to him. So, getting back to you, Mick, I think if I don't think you can go wrong with a lot of these quarterbacks in the draft. Like I said, and this isn't throwing shade on Justin Fields. I wasn't impressed by him. I think there was a small sample size. And part of that was because they only played, 6 games or whatever. And then, in the playoff game, he got hurt or whatever. So I don't even know if he was 100% for the title game against Alabama or if it would have mattered. But I think that, any of these other quarterbacks coming off. Now, I guess my only question with Trey Lance, and I get back to the kind of the quality of competition is, look, North Dakota State. I mean, if you're up for North Dakota, you love your football, right? They play at the indoor arena or whatever it is. It looks awesome. Right. Love to go to a game. But there's a big difference between that competition and going against the SEC and being a part of Alabama every single day, going against Patrick Surtain, DeMarcus Willems, all those guys. And not just from a 13-game SEC schedule. You guys have seen the road to the pros, right? Everyone's talking about it on our channel. Every single day you have to play against the best competition in the country. So, how much does that develop you? Add on to the fact with Mac Jones, okay, and the pick is in.
Yeah, pick is in. I was waiting. Pick is in right now. We basically remember that this was traded by the Dolphins. 49ers gave up a lot to get this pick. It's going to come down to a franchise quarterback. You're guessing, I mean, they would have to do that. It's obvious that they're not happy with Jimmy Garoppolo, although he did take the team to the Super Bowl and almost won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. But here we go. The pick is in right now, and the selection of the 49ers 2021 draft is, here we go. It is Trey Lance, North Dakota State.
Wow.
That's a big. The betting odds are right here. He was a slight favorite over Mac Jones. In the Bay Area, people were starting to really criticize the possibility that the 49ers would have traded up to get Mac Jones. He's not flashy. He's accurate. He runs your offense. He's smart. He was projected to be a late first-round pick, and he shot up to the front here. But they take Trey Lance, and he did not receive an offer from a Power 5 program to play quarterback. He was the first freshman to win the Walter Payton Award for the top offensive player in college football. And his father played Canadian football in the CFL. But now this really is kind of going to set the rest of this draft up. We expected Mac Jones to be picked in this spot. And I guess the criticism that I have is that you just selected a quarterback that really didn't play much competition, and you brought that up a second ago with the way that Mac Jones had to go through the SEC. He was kind of this year's Joe Burrow, but now that Mac Jones wasn't selected and it was Trey Lance, I wonder if there's going to be some trade movement now by other franchises, like, say, the Patriots, with the next pick to try to pick up Mac Jones, who would be, I feel like, a great fit in New England.
Before we begin, Trey, I just wanted to kind of jump on in and look. Credit to Trey Lance and everything that they've done. I'm sure that the Niners kind of did their due diligence and they still believe in Jimmy Garoppolo. I think Trey Lance is going to be a fine quarterback, but the only question mark that I have, and kind of building up to the point before the pick was in, was when I look at Trey Lance, right, and I looked at the fact that he played at North Dakota State, compare that to the coaching that Mac Jones had, throughout his past 4 years. Think about where those guys are. Brian DeBall, right, came from the New England Patriots, back in the NFL. Steve Sarkisian, right, the head football coach with, Texas, also spent some time as the OC at Atlanta. So you have that. You have Mike Locksley, who also was there for a year. And, he's the head football coach at Maryland. And come on, Mike Locksley, he knows the game. Oh, yeah. And then, this past season, just having, that Sarkisian, kind of continuity. And I think that really helped him in terms of the overall schematics and honing in on his craft. Look, Mac Jones is going to find a place to play. He's going to be, very successful. And I think, like Mick was saying, it's going to get very interesting now to see what the Patriots have in mind, because I think the Patriots could certainly go after Mac Jones. I think you looked at that Bill Belichick, Nick Saban connection. We saw Bill Belichick at, Mac Jones Pro Day. I'm sure, there was tons of people at Alabama's Pro Day, but still, it's going to be interesting to follow throughout this next. What is it going to be, like 5 hours of the first round?
Yeah, it feels like it, right? But I mean, now it's starting to get interesting because, the 49ers selected Trey Lance over Mac Jones. And look, Mac Jones, when you take his shirt off, he doesn't look like a superstar, right? I mean, he looks like a regular guy. But when you put him under center, the decisions that he makes, I questioned him a lot. I mean, look, I thought that Bryce Young would eventually take the job from him, and I was 110% wrong. The guy had leadership ability. His deep ball was the most impressive thing to me. And his ability to get knocked down and get back up again. I didn't like the way that
hold on, Mick. You're kind of breaking up a little bit. Maybe check out and check back in. It's kind of the connection was a little bit. You started to sound a little robotic.
How about now?
Sounded like you were coming to us from North Dakota.
Yeah. Well, going back to it. I mean, I just feel
still robotic. Why don't you?
Okay. I'll jump back.
If you want to refresh it, I'll pick it up right here.
Yeah.
This is a head scratcher because San Francisco traded for this pick. It's not like they were just there. And I don't read too deeply into the competition level necessarily. If the kid's got it, the kid's got it. You look at Zion Williamson. He was playing, church ball kids at the end of the day in high school, and he's going to be one of the greatest. But this is a really weird one because you traded for this pick when you know that Trey Lance hasn't proven himself on a grand scale, and Mac Jones has. Mac Jones, had one season, yes, but it was unbelievable and proved everything and more that he needed to. And this really stings for Mac because now you look at the draft order and, you're hoping a trade if your Mac Jones happens now here in this top 10, top 15. You look at it, didn't get selected by San Francisco. Atlanta's probably not going to take a quarterback. Cincinnati's not going to take a quarterback. Detroit's going to get a receiver. Carolina just traded for a quarterback. Denver is apparently pretty close to signing Aaron Rodgers. Dallas isn't going to take a quarterback. The Giants probably aren't going to move away from Daniel Jones. So, this pick right here stings that he didn't get taken third, but not just because he didn't get taken third, because now where does he get taken? And, if there's one kid that can handle it, it's probably Mac Jones. He never got the respect. Even this season, being a Heisman finalist and everything else, he still didn't get the respect. So he's been here before. He's been slapped on the face. He's going to turn the other cheek here, and I think he's going to have success wherever he ends up. And, maybe this is a door opening for him to go to New England or, to go to Philadelphia or wherever it may be. It's tough, but you just got to roll with the punches there. This is a really confusing one, though, for me.
We got the Atlanta Falcons up next, Trey. When you kind of look at, we're going to have Micah Parsons coming back in just a second. But when you kind of look to the Atlanta Falcons and the added arsenal that they already have, right? Calvin Ridley, you have Julio Jones. You look at the running back room, you look at the quarterback. I mean, can you imagine if they're able to add on a player like Kyle Pitts? I know that's a player that they've been talking about. I mean, let's talk about Kyle Pitts a little bit. I mean, I think we can all agree he's certainly someone who can step on the field the first Sunday of the NFL season and maybe catch 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Oh, I mean, this is one of the players in the draft that will make an immediate impact. We saw this last year's draft. It was really Justin Jefferson that emerged. If I had to pick one player that is going to step onto the field and be a regular part of the offense immediately, it'll be Kyle Pitts. And the way that this offense is set up in Atlanta, you saw Hayden Hurst get a lot of touches last year because they do have 2 elite receivers on their team. They love utilizing Julio Jones, but at times they can't just because of double coverage and other things. I think if you put Kyle Pitts, on this offense, with Matt Ryan as your quarterback and Calvin Ridley on one side and Julio Jones on the other, this is going to be a machine. And then you got Todd Gurley as your running back, and who knows what we get there, but this could be a really, really scary offense. We heard the Falcons general manager come out this week and say they weren't opposed to trading Julio Jones. That would confuse me a little bit here if they were to take Pitts and then trade Julio Jones. It just wouldn't make a lot of sense, but if they make this pick like it's looking like they will, the rumors have been surfacing here for a little bit. They get Kyle Pitts, this offense is going to be really scary in Atlanta next year.
Well, we got the pick is in. So what do you think, Mick? Welcome back. What do you think about Kyle Pitts?
Yeah, look, Kyle Pitts is the odds-on favorite to get picked in this spot, and the Falcons right now are making their pick. Roger Goodell at the mic. The selection for Atlanta in the 2021 draft is Kyle Pitts of Florida. They take the big tight end. People are going to be happy. Kyle Henderson. We talked about it going into the SEC championship game, just how good this guy looked. And he was. Florida gave Alabama all they wanted in that SEC title game. And one of the reasons why was this guy was just so hard to match up against, even against the great Patrick Surtain. He was still tough to defend. He's got the longest arms of any tight end in the draft. And I'm very intrigued to see what this is going to look like, whether Julio Jones sticks around or maybe he gets traded to Baltimore, a team that would really like to have a big play receiver. The Falcons, they're going to stick with Matt Ryan. We know that now. And they got Kyle Pitts. Big pick.
Yeah, I mean, and literally a big pick. I mean, you look at the size of the man, 6'6", 245 pounds, arms 33.5 inches, and he's got hands almost 11 inches. So you're talking about a big catch radius when you get the ball to a player like Kyle Pitts. And as I was saying earlier, when you look at kind of the prototypical receivers and guys who, can create mismatches on the outside. I mean, 6'5", 245 pounds. What he run his 40 time? And I guess we'd have to look it up at his scouting combine, but I bet you it's like a 4.4 or something like that. So I don't, DK Metcalf, these type of guys create problems. Kyle Pitts, I think, added to the Atlanta Falcons. Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Kyle Pitts, as Trey said, Gurley up in the backfield, and then they got Ryan at quarterback. That's a very, very dangerous offense. And I think if you're an Atlanta Falcon fan, you're like, okay, we're going to the playoffs and beyond, and we better, or we're going to be asking for people to start leaving up at the top because that offense is loaded.
It's going to look a lot like Alabama, I think, from this past year for Atlanta. This defense is going to be a little bit shaky. They're going to be fine, but this offense is going to be so deadly. It's a 4.46 40-yard dash there for Kyle Pitts. So just, incredible athleticism.
What was it, 4.46?
4.46.
No,
yeah.
and someone said that Mike said that he's the guy that threw the shoe. No, I don't think he threw the shoe.
He did
I don't think that was him.
I don't think that was him. That was someone else.
That
was one of the best moments of college football when he got it and he threw it, and then that cost him the game, right?
That was, at LSU in a game that they had to win. Yeah, that was.
Oh man.
He was not the shoe thrower. This is, you know what? Like I'm kind of surprised at the Falcons. People say Matt Ryan's like a Hall of Fame quarterback. I've just never really been enamored by him. He also blew the biggest lead in Super Bowl history to Tom Brady and the Patriots. I just look at the Falcons, and they're underachievers a lot. But they're going to stick with him because this would have been the draft where you could have gone and got a Mac Jones. There's a lot of quarterbacks that are still available. Justin Fields is still out there, but they're going to go with the tight end. And you don't see tight ends drafted this high very often. But I think that also goes to show just how much of a difference maker Kyle Pitts is. And for all of you guys that do fantasy football, that whether you're talking about Travis Kelce or Kittle for the 49ers, when you get like a transcendent tight end, when they're far and few between, Gronk used to be one, as they show Mac Jones, by the way, backstage at the draft, and he doesn't look too happy. Those tight ends are really worth it, and you don't see this a lot, but they took one in the 4th round.
Yeah, I mean, you look to other guys on the board. I knew at the tight end position, he was certainly going to be a top 5 pick. And look, no disrespect to DeVonta Smith or Jaylen Waddle, those guys are going to probably be up here, within the next few picks. But I think just overall, what you need at the NFL, guys who can create big production. How could you not go with Kyle Pitts? I knew that he was going to be the first non-quarterback off the board, right? I think we all knew that. And the Falcons scooping him up, I think credit to them. And like I said, now Matt Ryan, you kind of look to that organization. They have to win games because their offense is absolutely loaded.
Wow. And let's go back to Mac Jones. We see him backstage. The 5th pick is Cincinnati. They have Joe Burrow. There's no chance that they're going to take Mac Jones unless there's a trade made. He's going to roll on to the next pick. Becomes interesting. We expected him to be the first Alabama player taken. You're going to start to get into the territory after this pick, which Cincinnati's either going to take an offensive lineman or a wide receiver, from what I've read, where Mac Jones could get towards the end of the top 10 picks. And I don't think he'll make it out of the top 10. But at the same time, we're still a little bit surprised that he wasn't taken by the 49ers.
Hey, fellas, real quick. I'm gonna take a quick 5-minute break, maybe 10 minutes. We've been on an hour, and we're only, we haven't even got one Alabama football player. So I'm gonna take a tenner. I'll be right back, and we'll still add the graphics and stuff like that. So I'm gonna step out for just a second.
All right, no more Kyle Henderson for right now, but you got Trey Yannity and me, Mick Gillespie, as we hang out. Look, give us a thumbs up and subscribe as you enjoy the Bama Insider Watch Party, the NFL Draft 2021, waiting on the Cincinnati Bengals to make this pick. Feel sorry. Look, think about I guess when you go back and look at draft history and they show you the guy backstage not being selected, Aaron Rodgers is kind of the poster boy for that, right? You remember, we thought he was going to be like a top pick that year, and he just kept going and going. And a lot of this is based off of needs, So the first 3 picks were going to be quarterbacks, and we figured that Mac Jones would be that 3rd pick, but for some reason, that's not the case tonight. So they showed us Mac Jones backstage. He wasn't looking too happy. I don't think he's going to make it out of the top 10, though. And we can't hear you, Trey, for some reason. So you may have to jump on and fix your audio. But anyway, look, as you get your audio up, the Bengals are just about to pick. Another note that I got to make too is that Cleveland's done a really nice job with this NFL draft. I mean, this is really cool. Like the way that they have it all set up. There's a huge crowd that's surrounding the facility. They had a rock concert with Kings of Leon on there before things got going. And now we'll see. I mean, the Bengals are going to have to build around Joe Burrow. He got hurt last year because, they had a tough time blocking for him. I mean, the guy got hit, they said 73 times during the season he got hit, and eventually his knee got torn, right? You'd love to see them get, if you're a Bengals fan, a game transcendent receiver. But with that said, you almost feel like you got to go out and take the best offensive lineman to help protect your quarterback. Still can't hear you, Trey. So we still, for whatever reason.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Kyle, but
not Trey.
Oh, interesting.
Trey. Now Trey's back.
Maybe we just need 3 in the stream or something. I don't know.
No. Let me see.
Yeah.
No, you're back, Kyle. Trey's back. So the pick is in, by the way, for Cincinnati, Trey. And I can't hear you again. All right, well, look, the pick is in for the Cincinnati Bengals, and let's see. It's either going to be an offensive lineman or his teammate, Jamar Chase.
I'm thinking Chase here. I mean, this is this is going to be a really cool deal to see Burrow and Chase get linked back up.
Kyle?
Yo, I'm here. Can you hear Trey?
Who do you think they're going to take quickly?
I don't really care about the Bengals.
All right, here we go. The selection is in, and the fifth pick, Cincinnati is going to select. They're selecting Jamar Chase out of LSU. So you got the LSU connection back. Chase decided to not play football this year. With COVID, he opted out, and the LSU had a historically terrible season. But when you talk about prototypical NFL type talent, this guy's big, he's fast, he's got great hands, he's tough to defend. He's also a great friend of Joe Burrow, and he's someone that you heard rumors that Joe Burrow was behind the scenes saying, "Hey, we need someone like this. We need someone that I feel like could be a game changer." So we have the LSU connection right now, where you're taking LSU's quarterback from their 2019 championship team, and now you're matching him up with his favorite target.
Yeah, this is a really cool pick here. And we kind of saw this happening. I thought Chase would maybe slide down to Detroit or Philadelphia at that 6 or 7 pick, but this makes all the sense in the world. If I was Cincinnati, I definitely wouldn't have taken a receiver. I would have gone with Penei Sewell. This is a historically terrible offensive line there in Cincinnati. And Joe Burrow did what he could last year, but he might end up injured again this year. Don't wish that on him or anything like that. But if that line doesn't get some kind of help, he's going to have no chance. It doesn't matter if you have Jamar Chase or not. I don't love taking a receiver here, but if there was going to be one to take, it works really well for Joe Burrow. He knows how to throw to Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase, knows what Joe Burrow wants to here. It would have been cool to see an Alabama player get taken in the top 5 again this year, but didn't happen. And, I think there's a lot of spots still open where Alabama can really make some noise here. Don't be surprised if we see maybe guys go back-to-back for Alabama in these upcoming picks. Detroit is picking number 7. Miami, though, is the next pick in the draft. I think they go get DeVonta Smith. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Jaylen Waddle go to Detroit as well. So no Bama guys yet, but hang in there. They're coming.
Well, the suspense is growing because Tony Tsoukalis and I, we talked about like the possibility of matching, maybe Waddle with Tua in Miami, and maybe Hurts with Smitty in Philadelphia. And he also said, "Hey, what about Chase with Burrow in Cincinnati?" So that's happened right here. And yeah, I mean, look, I want to tell you, Naomi, I don't want to sit here and see any more highlights of the one time that LSU's beaten Alabama in the last 12 games in Tuscaloosa, that game 2 years ago. So I'm with you on that. But wow,
this one. Is this better? Is this better, Naomi? Hey, you know what? I wanted to mention one thing. Naomi said something that was really interesting. So she said, "Oh, here's a pick. We're probably like super late."
So the Dolphins pick is in.
Okay.
And you know what's happening now is we're starting to have a good time doing this, and so the pace is picking up a little bit. But Roger is not announcing the pick. They're just the Dolphins have it ready. So
okay. One thing that I wanted to say is Naomi said something very interesting. She said, "I'm watching it on my TV." Look, everyone out there, if you have a smart TV, you can go to YouTube on your smart TV, any TV. I'm sure you all have Netflix, whatever, Hulu, HBO Max, whatever. Go to YouTube and just search Bama Insider, and you can watch these shows. You can watch all our videos on your TV. That's something that I probably should continue to say more frequently, but you don't have to watch it just on your phone. You can pop it up on your TV. So good stuff. I hope you're doing the same thing, Naomi. You can check out Bama Insider on your TV.
Yeah, no doubt.
And John was asking too, because I always read through the comment box because you guys, I mean, it's all about the followers, right? He's like, why are you guys like 30 seconds behind? It's because YouTube TV is so delayed.
Yeah, we got the corner box still here, so we're fighting through it. But hang with us. And for DeVonta Smith here, I think that this would make a lot of sense. He could link back up with Tua, depending on what happens here. We saw Miami brought up a decent bit today with the Aaron Rodgers news, but I really like, how this would fit down there too. We heard a lot, Jaylen Waddle, the guy on the screen there now, being maybe the first two out of these taken. I thought Jamar Chase would probably fall in the middle of the two, but he's the first one out of the three now. So it comes down to DeVonta Smith and Jaylen Waddle. If I'm an NFL GM, I'm probably taking Jaylen Waddle first. He's a little bit more projectable. Did have the injury this past season, but outside of that, the hands, the speed, everything else, he has so many tools.
Is this fake news? John is ahead. John has some supersonic TV that he's watching. He's saying that the Dolphins picked Waddle. Mick, can we get a confirmation on that?
Yeah, I'm not there yet, but this was a trade that was made. The Dolphins originally were 3. They went to 12, and then they came back to 6. You know that they're going to take receivers because, Tua needs some targets to throw to. Not a whole lot of game changers in Miami. So, when this pick comes in, which I don't see Roger Goodell rolling up to the podium quite yet, but I would not be surprised if it's not Waddle. And before Tua went to Miami, I know there were rumors that he might get traded, but I felt like Miami was really insignificant. Since Dan Marino, there wasn't a whole lot of momentum around the franchise. And when Tua went there, immediately his jersey was the best-selling jersey in the NFL. And when he got in, it wasn't the same Tua that we saw, but at the same time, you're talking about a player that was coming off of a pretty serious hip injury, and he still ended up with a winning record his first year. So I got a feeling that second year of Tua is going to be spectacular. I've talked about it with you, Kyle, many times. And Trey, I'll tell you this as well. He's my favorite Alabama player ever. I love Tua and everything he represents. All right, at the microphone is Roger Goodell, and the Dolphins have selected with their first-round pick. They have selected Jaylen Waddle from Alabama. Roll Tide. So he was right. He was on it. Waddle, the first Alabama player taken. He had the injury in Tennessee, came back for the national championship game. He's going to reunite with Tua.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Jaylen Waddle, first of all, look at the drip. I love the suit. Jaylen Waddle, he had the season that, he probably didn't want to have, right? I mean, he was injured through the majority of the season, but what we saw at the beginning of the season was enough to send him to a top 10 pick. I mean, you look at it, 5'9", 180 pounds, ludicrous speed. That's what it says on the TV. I think it's absolutely right. You're talking about a player who is a impact player every single time he touches the football. And you have to question the fact that if he was healthy throughout the season, is he the Heisman Trophy winner? I know maybe that doesn't even matter, but that's the type of player that Jaylen Waddle is. It's incredible that he's linking up with Tua Tagovailoa. I have an old clip. I'm going to try to play it of Jaylen Waddle talking about Tua. I don't even know what this was about, but I found it in here when I was searching my files. So let's see if I can play it. This is Jaylen Waddle long ago talking about his quarterback, now with the Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa.
Hey, Jaylen, your former quarterback Tua got the starting job today for the Miami Dolphins. Just want to kind of get your reaction to that news.
I ain't know that. You telling me stuff I ain't even know. But I'm happy for him. I'll tell you that. He's definitely gonna get a text from me. Probably as soon as I'm off of here. So kudos to him.
Short soundbite, but obviously he was excited about his quarterback, and now his quarterback with the Miami Dolphins. Trey, your thoughts on Jaylen Waddle going to Miami?
This is awesome, and like I was just saying before the pick was in, I think this was probably the best decision they could have made here. Having DeVonta Smith on your team is an incredible asset, but the things that Jaylen Waddle can do, and I don't even think we've seen the best of it yet. I remember when he was getting recruited out of Texas. I was working for a different company at the time, and they were kind of talking about some prospects, and out of the crop, they're like, look out for this kid, Jaylen Waddle. I mean, he is really something different. We saw an immediate impact. I think it's going to be the same thing in the NFL. He's got the size. He has the speed, the catching abilities, open field, everything else. I mean, he does everything right. I think it was a toss-up, really, between Jamar Chase and Jaylen Waddle. I think the Joe Burrow connection is why Cincinnati took Jamar Chase, and, it's going to be a really cool fit to see Tua link back up with them as well. It'll be interesting to see how often they try to work him into this offense in year one here, because, it would be probably pretty obvious to game plan against the Tua Jaylen connection. Do they try to, make this like college, as we see the highlights here between Tua and Jaylen? Or do they maybe just try to slowly work him in? I think he's ready to go. I think he could be the Justin Jefferson of this season. But overall, excellent pick. And I think we're going to see DeVonta Smith get taken off the board here pretty soon, if not next.
Well, the first pick out of Alabama selected in the draft is Jaylen Waddle. Love the guy. As by the way, the Detroit Lions pick is in, although Roger Goodell not up to the microphone yet, but just we'll keep an eye on that. I love the fact that with half of the LSU football team opting out because of COVID, and all the players that don't want to play in bowl games and everything else that happens in the NFL, that Waddle made it a point to come back and be a part of the national championship game for Alabama. It really shows what this program means. There were people that were on the internet and they were saying, hey, you don't have to do this. And he said, I want to do this. It represents everything that is great about Alabama and built by Bama. Nothing wrong with his ankle. He's going to go on and be a kick returner and a wide receiver and whatever else they need in Miami. It's going to be a lot of fun. And there's some people that are watching right now that are going to hate the Bengals, and now they're going to love the Dolphins even more, because now you got two Alabama players on there built by Bama down in Miami. So this is definitely kind of playing out very interestingly with LSU and Alabama now having two of their stars playing for the same NFL teams.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, what I'm most excited about when you look at a player in a connection with Tua and Jaylen Waddle is I think it's an instant boost to that overall offense. I think you're getting a player that is very dynamic. We saw that a good sample size of Tua Tagovailoa during that first year with the Dolphins, and I think that that's only going to translate into more success. And I love the Dolphins' approach going after Jaylen Waddle. And remember, Jaylen Waddle left after his junior season. I mean, this is a guy who could be coming back for Alabama during 2021. So Jaylen Waddle is a very special and dynamic player. A lot of comparisons to Tyreek Hill, one of the most dangerous players in all of college football. In the NFL. And just having that versatile of a player, a guy who can return kicks, a guy that can return punts, and really, quite frankly, every single time he touches the football, a guy that can make you miss and go the distance. And I'm sure that Tua Tagovailoa had a lot to do with the fact of them drafting Jaylen Waddle. And it'd be interesting, I think you kind of rewind. I think there was a time where somebody asked about DeVonta Smith. Who would he rather have? Would he rather have Mac Jones or Tua Tagovailoa? And I think DeVonta Smith actually said Mac Jones. So
yeah, both of them.
Do you remember that?
Both of them said that. Yeah, Waddle.
Yeah. So, I don't know, if there's going to be any smoke when they get into the locker room. However, it's a good pick, and I think if you're a Miami Dolphins fan, you number one last year you got the Tua Tagovailoa jersey, the number one. I saw a little kid off at the school bus wearing it, and I'm sure that you're going to buy another jersey, probably in white, and that's going to say Waddle, and you're going to have Tua and Jaylen Waddle. You're going to have two Miami Dolphins jerseys. Hey, I'm going to step out real quick. I'm going to cut a video. Trey should be good. You want to do a quick audio test on your end, Trey? All right, let's see. Turn your volume up. No, not yet. Make sure that you are selecting your audio down here, Trey, to make sure that it is the mini studio. Give us 1 second, fam. We're doing some technical stuff on here.
What happens when you have the draft party? Look, while you guys are working on that, let me talk about this next pick after the Dolphins, the Detroit Tigers. Terrible franchise, one that hasn't won a playoff game in 2 Trey Yannity lifetimes, and now they're on the clock. Who are they going to select? They have needs at every position. They traded Matt Stafford, their quarterback, to LA, to the Rams. Look, they took the offensive lineman, Penei Sewell. Did I say that right? Or Penei?
Penei Sewell.
Penei Sewell. Good pick. That's a really good pick for them. If you're going to build your franchise from being a perennial loser, you start in the trenches. And we expected that Sewell would end up going to the Bengals because, look, they just invested with the number 1 pick a year ago, a quarterback they couldn't protect. But Sewell of Oregon is projected and now is the first offensive lineman taken. He's someone that you expect to be able to block your blind side in the NFL. And that's a very good pick. You know what? You love to have the guys that can make the plays and the position players, the guy that totes the rock. But at the same time, you got to have somebody that blocks. And that's what they did. Carolina's on the clock right now. This is another potential landing place for Mac Jones. And Kyle, what's interesting about this, Joe Brady really was the architect of LSU's perfect season. He's now the offensive coordinator with the Carolina Panthers, Trey Yannity's Carolina Panthers, as deemed tonight here on the watch party.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back, Nick. Carry it.
All right, Mac. So Kyle's going to bounce out. Mac, this could be Mac Jones right now, jumping in, but really interesting. Kind of just seeing that Sewell taken by the Lions, and if I'm the Lions and I'm a fan of the Lions, I feel like, look, the only way we're going to get better is that we're going to have to start winning in the trenches. And I'll tell you what, that's the way you do it. You take when the Baltimore Ravens built their franchise, Jonathan Ogden was one of their first picks. And you take a guy like Ogden and you're going, what's an offensive lineman? Look, you build winners around the offensive line. Alabama last year won the national championship. The unit that was the very best on that team in every single game, night in and night out, was the offensive line. Probably the best offensive line that Alabama's ever had, top to bottom. And it's not always a glamorous position, but it's a spot when you talk about winning, you win in the trenches. So we're less than 2 minutes away now from the Carolina Panthers making their pick. Mac Jones is available. Joe Brady took Joe Burrow, a very similar style quarterback, and won with him. Teddy Bridgewater was their quarterback last year. They traded him away. They went and got Sam Darnold from the Jets. This pick right here, Trey, is going to tell us a lot about the direction of your Panthers football team, because if they take a quarterback, you're going into this with a quarterback battle, right? If they take a position player, then they're going to be comfortable with Sam Darnold moving forward.
Do you have me all right now? You got my audio?
Yeah, jump in.
All righty. Yeah, Kyle, the troubleshooting master over here has got me hooked up. But my Carolina Panthers are faced with an interesting decision, but it's been cleared up a decent bit in these last couple weeks. If you think about it, before it was looking like Justin Fields or even maybe Mac Jones, and I think both would have been a good fit. And, it's still not out of the realm of possibility that one of those two guys is taken right here. But the trade, with the Jets to get Darnold is interesting, because now it's looking like, maybe the Panthers decide to get some line help or, help on defense or anything else. This one's a little bit different. Sorry I had to miss that Detroit pick there a little bit. Interesting to see as well. But, you look at this Broncos pick too here. If we don't see Mac Jones or Justin Fields taken by the Panthers, do we see the Broncos then make the move there? This pick could change things with the quarterbacks left on the board. But overall, I think they've kind of had it set in stone. And I think they really took the energy out of this thing for the fans, I guess, including myself now, by trading for Darnold, because it was really looking like a quarterback before this.
Well, you still have Mac Jones. You still have Justin Field available at the quarterback spot. You know that the Denver Broncos at 9, even though they just got Teddy Bridgewater, right? They just traded for him. They still need a quarterback. You got the New England Patriots hanging around back there. They need a quarterback. And at some point, you could see a blockbuster trade. There's been a lot of rumors that New England has kind of been sniffing around at the potential of making a trade. You wonder if they're interested in a guy like Mac Jones, or do they want the more versatile quarterback that can get outside of the pocket and run, like Justin Fields. I mean, I don't know. Justin Field to me had one game that I watched and thought, okay, yeah, this is what everyone was talking about with him, and that was obviously the game against Clemson, right?
Yeah.
Mac Jones played in a lot of big games, and he progressively got better each and every week. It's going to be interesting. I mean, like the next 5 or 6 picks, anything can happen right now.
Oh, certainly. I mean, you look at Mac Jones and Justin Fields. We talk about this comparison a little bit more, and the potential of a New England coming in here and trading. I think it would be perfect. If history tells us anything, New England is okay with a quarterback that can stay in the pocket and deliver the football. You think about what's best for Mac Jones here, and probably not the Carolina Panthers right now. I don't think it's a terrible fit, but I think the absolute best fit with what we're looking at probably is the Patriots. And if not there, maybe he really slides and ends up on the Washington football team. I think that's an interesting one. Probably doesn't slide to there. If he slides to, they pick at 19. If he slides there, he's going to get taken by New England. But maybe they trade up. All they need is a quarterback to get that team in playoff contention.
Okay, so here we go. We got Roger Goodell at the podium. Some of you may know this already. And J.C. Horn, the cornerback out of South Carolina, taken by the Panthers. So that tells us a lot here. First off, that the first defensive player taken is the lockdown cornerback from the Gamecocks, right? The University of South Carolina corner, Horn. It also tells us that Sam Darnold is the quarterback moving forward that the Panthers are happy with. And it also tells us this. You could have taken Surtain with the same pick. They're a South Carolina, North Carolina team. They want to attract fans. And I think that this is one of those deals, too, where you say, hey, you know what? You can check a lot of boxes with this pick.
Oh, certainly. I mean, J.C. Horn here. We knew he was going to be taken early, and if you're a Giants fan, you're maybe taking a breath out to think that DeVonta Smith is still available, and J.C. Horn now isn't, because it was looking like the front office there in New York was really interested in J.C. Horn. They probably would have taken him over DeVonta Smith. So you look at these next two now. What does Denver do? Like you're saying, this pick opens up a realm of possibilities. Denver now has a lot of pressure on them to draft a quarterback or, pursue this whole Aaron Rodgers thing that we're continuing to track. And then after that, you got Dallas. I think that's where we see Patrick Surtain go. We've heard these rumors for so long now. If there was one Alabama player at least, that I would, pencil in with a pretty dark piece of lead, it would be Patrick Surtain, because it's looking pretty clear he's going to be a Dallas Cowboy. And now the Giants are sitting right in position to get DeVonta Smith. Don't be surprised if they do that and maybe, try to trade for a quarterback or something, or stick it out with Daniel Jones. But we still come back to, where is Mac Jones going to end up? Where's Justin Fields going to end up? Does Philly get a quarterback? Is Mac Jones going to have to go out there to Philadelphia and try to battle for a job with Jalen Hurts? That would be pretty ironic. We'll see how it shakes out here, but the Panthers not taking a quarterback definitely opens things up.
Yeah, really interesting. So we're on pick 9 now, 5 minutes and change away from, actually less than 5 minutes away from the Broncos making a selection. This is interesting. This is one of those picks too where, maybe we started the show talking about the fact that that the Green Bay Packers may have to trade Aaron Rodgers, that Aaron Rodgers doesn't want to come back. This could be a spot where the Broncos say, hey, you can have the next 3 years first round picks, or you can take 2 and our quarterback, whatever you want to get Aaron Rodgers. They won a Super Bowl doing that with Peyton Manning. It would be an absolute steal if they could figure out a way to finagle Aaron Rodgers away from Green Bay. But, Green Bay put themselves in this position where they kind of stepped on their star player and the current NFL MVP's toes by taking Jordan Love, a guy that none of us even heard of, trading up for him last year in the draft. And, and that kind of put them in a spot where, the guy wasn't happy. And then you get that close to winning a Super Bowl. Maybe if you'd gone out and taken a real player that's going to be able to contribute now instead of a guy that you're looking down the road at, you could have won the Super Bowl last year, and it wasn't like they had a bad season the year before. They lost in the championship game to the 49ers. They lost in the championship game this year to Tampa Bay. And I think that's one of the things that has been in the back of his mind, Rodgers. And I'm interested to see. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to make a trade right here, but this would be a potential spot where you could see the Packers, if they're going to get rid of him, you could slide into this pick right now and take a quarterback if you needed to, or the Broncos might give you their entire draft this year to get Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, this is really where you're going to see it go down right here if it does during draft night. I really think that this makes a lot of sense. Teddy Bridgewater is not an option for really any amount of time. He gave the Panthers some solid games this season, but that's not your quarterback. And the fact that there's so many rumors surrounding the Broncos. We heard the buzz about, maybe San Francisco for Rodgers, maybe Miami, even, certain teams that are looking for quarterbacks right now. And the thing about Aaron Rodgers' contract is he has a no trade clause, so he can pretty much pick and choose where he wants to go. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was Denver. I think he wants to get out west. We saw Peyton Manning have a very similar route coming from Indianapolis down there to Denver, and he ended up winning a Super Bowl to cap off his career. So I think this would be, realistic. Both parties would be happy with this. But then it comes down to who do the Broncos give up? And what's really kind of interesting, the Packers released a set of things that teams they wouldn't trade him to today, and the Broncos kind of check all these boxes, which is why I think that San Francisco didn't trade that number 3 pick to get Aaron Rodgers, because they're in the same conference, and the Packers didn't want to do that. So this one does make a lot of sense, but the Packers also said in that list they don't want a quarterback. They're willing to stick it out with Love and try to make things work here. Just a minute now on the clock. I don't know what the TV looks like on your end, but this next minute is going to be really, really interesting to see if they go after Rodgers or maybe draft a quarterback. This could be Mac Jones right here too.
Yeah, I what we'll see. I mean, this is going to be. This is what we are here to do, is to sit back and figure out exactly how all of this stuff's going to shake out with this year's draft. We were worried about, what was going to happen. I think all of us saw enough Mac Jones where we really felt like he would be an easy pick to be the 49ers quarterback. And I think the 49ers might have outthought themselves, honestly, on that deal. I think they might have outthought themselves because the people in the Bay Area, a lot of the media, a lot of the fans were not really excited about Mac Jones. And it's like Mac's had to go out and prove himself. And he's been able to do that with us. And maybe a better destination for him would be, I think the perfect spot would be New England. But we're going to find out right here exactly where the Broncos go with their first pick. And, John Elway knows quarterbacks, and that's a position that, that they've been lacking. I mean, they had a receiver playing quarterback last year, partly because of COVID, but, looking at the list of quarterbacks they had, Simeon, Locke, Keenum, Flacco was in there. And so the pick's in right now. Do you like the old Broncos, D, or do you like the new Horsehead logo? Which one do you like better? I see a lady there that's got both of them on. Rocking old D and then the new Horsehead hat.
both are really cool. Both are really, really cool. I think I like this one just a little bit better because it's got the perfect amount of seriousness, but it's not, too much. It's not scary, but it's got that cartoony feel. I like it. As we see Roger Goodell start to walk towards the stand here, but a pick is in, which means a whole lot, regardless of who it is. It doesn't mean that they're going to be trading this for Aaron Rodgers. So is this Mac Jones right here? Let's see.
Yeah. Well, you still DeVonta Smith still available. You may be slightly ahead of me. I love the fans that they've brought up to be part of this too. I mean, these guys going all out with their costumes.
Patrick Surtain.
How about this? Patrick Surtain Jr. taken at number 9. This is one I just said a second ago that I thought he was almost guaranteed to be a Dallas Cowboy. A really interesting pick here. A team that, even with Teddy Bridgewater still has pretty big quarterback issues long term, at least. They don't go get a quarterback. They go pad the defense here a little bit. Denver was in a tough spot. This team probably deserved a 3rd or 4th pick. They had a season that they probably shouldn't have had this past year, and it came back to hurt them because they had to pick at number 9. Getting Patrick Surtain is an excellent pick here. No doubt about it. He is one of, if not the best cornerbacks in this draft available, and he's going to contribute right away. He's very NFL-style cornerback, too. We saw a lot of that at Alabama. Just a quiet, steady defender, which is going to be great for this Denver team. But I'm really surprised we didn't see them add to this offense at all.
You know what? The first question I would ask Patrick Surtain, and I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being patient. I was uploading that Jaylen Waddle video. The first question I'd ask Patrick Surtain, I'd be like, how excited are you to cover Jerry Jeudy all practice again? Because Jerry Judy's with the Broncos. So, both those guys linking up in the Mile High City. I love the pick. As you mentioned, Patrick Surtain, brings so much versatility to that defense. I mean, he played a little bit of star at Alabama, but he's at corner. Big, lengthy dude, 6'2", 208 pounds, can lay the wood. They're saying he's explosive, ball skills. I mean, everything you want. Remember, his pops played in the league, and as you know, the apple usually doesn't fall far from the tree.
The Cowboys right now are all just kind of like going, okay, what do we do? We've kind of had Surtain going to to Dallas, but he goes a pick earlier. The Cowboys are on the clock right now, and they've got to figure out what they're gonna do. I remember his dad. His dad is a great player in the NFL. And he came to Alabama and was a shutdown corner. So that's the second Alabama player that is off the board. And he goes in the top 10. And it's also triggered a run on cornerbacks in the NFL. The last 2 picks, cornerbacks. When you do your fantasy football draft, you know what I mean? Like when one guy might pick like a tight end and then everybody picks one, it's like a run on that position. It kind of feels like that right now with cornerbacks. Dallas has a lot of need for cornerbacks, for linebackers, for anyone that can tackle in football. It's going to be interesting to see what the Cowboys do now. And I have no idea what they're going to do at their pick at this point.
This is just, it changes everything. You look at every single mock draft, and it has Patrick Surtain with the Cowboys. Maybe they go get an edge rusher. Maybe they go get Penei out of Michigan. He was kind of slotted to go in the top 15 as well. Maybe they look to, Greg Newsome, kid from Northwestern there. He's a cornerback as well. But this, I think you're onto it. The Cowboys will try to get somebody for this defense here. Gotta be just scrambling at this point, though, because I think everybody and their brother would have told you Patrick Surtain was going to be a Cowboy.
Yeah, no doubt. The question is too, and I hate to go back to Mac Jones, but Denver is in need of a quarterback. They went and got Teddy Bridgewater, who's not. He's a backup, right? They were in a spot where they could have took 2 really highly talented quarterbacks, guys that we've heard a lot about in the NFL lately, in Mac Jones and Justin Field, the matchup in the national championship game. But instead, they decided to go with a cornerback, someone on defense, and skip a cornerback and skip the quarterback. Or could this be telling us something, too, that they feel like that they have a chance to maybe get Aaron Rodgers with a blockbuster?
Look how pissed Dallas is. They're trading that pick. They're like, they wanted Surtain so bad, just
And
as you said, Mick. They wanted him so bad. So a trade is in. Let's see what happens with the trade. Patrick Surtain's going to the Mile High City, back to guard Jerry Jeudy. And someone's saying Dallas trade their, watch Eagles draft Fields. Let's see what happens. So they're going with the Eagles. Is this DeVonta Smith?
wow. So yeah, the Eagles trade 2 picks up here. You got to think this is going to be DeVonta Smith because
or do they go with Mac Jones and create an Alabama football controversy at the quarterback position?
I agree. Yeah, no, I agree entirely. That would be the right idea here. But just with the way it looks, it was probably Philadelphia was waiting by the phone to see if they would take Surtain, the Broncos, that is. And right when they did, they said, let us get that 10th pick. They knew Dallas wouldn't want it, and they know that the New York Giants desperately want DeVonta Smith. So now you're 1 pick ahead of them. This is hilarious to think about because the Dallas Cowboys absolutely hate the Philadelphia Eagles, but I think they hate the Giants a little bit more. So they trade the Eagles that pick so they can be 1 ahead of the Giants. Just madness unfolding here.
I mean, look, who's on the Eagles quarterback roster, right? I mean, you got Jalen Hurts, who's the coach isn't going to dub him the starter, which I thought was kind of odd. But I mean, I didn't hear anything that, the Eagles are looking for to add on another quarterback, but it's potentially something that could happen. I would love to see DeVonta Smith, and what a storyline. Jalen Hurts gets DeVonta Smith, Waddle gets, or Tua gets, Waddle. Those would be some good storylines to kind of rehash tomorrow.
Are you guys ready? I mean, Smitty's going to the Eagles right now. I'm telling you, like I can feel it. So we're gonna have this thing Tony and I talked about on Monday Night Quarterback. I mean, you got to give Tony a lot of credit. He was throwing it out there. He said Burrow and Chase, Smitty and Hurts and Tua and Waddle. And I'm telling you, why else would they not have made this? They would not have made this trade if they weren't trying to get Smith. This guy is the right player in the right situation.
No, he really is. I mean, this would be an awesome fit too because he's going to have a lot of freedom there in Philadelphia. The way they run this offense has been kind of loose these last couple seasons, and Eagles fans are a little bit hard to please at times. Philadelphia fans in general, they they have a quick memory there, but I think DeVonta Smith would be a really good fit because he's a quiet player. He's not a crazy personality.
I would love the pick. DeVonta Smith seems like a perfect, like Philadelphia would be a perfect spot for him. Yeah. I love the shirt that he wore for A-Day. It said happily miserable. Right? Exactly. DeVonta Smith going to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. It would be amazing. I think he would do well there. I think he'd catch many, many touchdowns for Jalen Hurts. And, let's see what happens. And,
Mac doesn't look happy, does he, guys? You can see him on your screen.
Who's that, Mac?
Mac Jones. Yeah, he doesn't look happy right now.
Man, Trevor Lawrence, told you should have had your own party at home.
You're sweating in that belt suit right now.
Let's see. Okay.
This is it. Look, or if the Eagles.
This is the most interesting part of the draft so far.
This is. I mean, we knew that there would probably be a trade somewhere from 9 to 12, one of these teams. But I think we all thought it was going to be the Denver Broncos, and they pretty much forced Dallas to trade after they take their player. And, it's really interesting to see, too. A lot of the mock drafts had the Panthers taking J.C. Horn. But, it kind of had Denver in the mix as well. And now that J.C. Horn was taken at 8, it really shifted Patrick Surtain up there. Pick is in now for Philadelphia.
Yeah, here we go.
This is madness. Yeah, let's see what they got.
Nervous? Is it you nervous? Are you calling it Smitty, Yanity, Smitty, Henderson? What do you say?
No, it's Smitty right here.
Here we go. Right? I mean, we're closing in on this. It's gonna be really interesting. Okay. I think it's got to be Smitty. I mean, you wouldn't trade ahead of the Giants and take a quarterback because
no.
Quarterback. So you're talking about a receiver, and DeVonta Smith has been talked about going to Philadelphia. You team him up with his former quarterback and Jalen Hurts. I mean, it's just a perfect fit. They haven't taken a Nick Saban player. And Hurts.
They had it.
Oh, very true. This is unorthodox here for Philly.
Yeah, so we're looking into the Eagles' war room right now, and I'm telling you, I think they're going to take a Heisman Trophy winner. I think they're taking a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. that brings that Philadelphia
we're about to find out if Philadelphia has smoke with Nick Saban right here. If they don't draft Smitty, Nick Saban's going after the Eagles.
No,
this is crazy, though. You're right. I mean, who would have thought Dallas would make a trade with the Eagles to let them jump over the Giants?
I know it. This is the divisional one-up, but I love it. I mean, it's part of the fun of those rivalries. These teams truly hate each other. There's sports rivalries, whatever, but in this division, they all just hate each other, and it'll be really funny if the Eagles slam dunk on the Giants here and take DeVonta Smith.
Now, here we go. I mean, it's coming right now. Oh, man, this is what it's all about, guys. This is what it's all about. I mean, this puts together where you have two teams that you're going to want to watch all the time if you're an Alabama fan. You're going to want to see
DeVonta Smith, ladies and gentlemen. DeVonta Smith.
How about that?
It only made sense. I mean, they were going to have to take the Slim Reaper with the pick because you don't make that trade for any other reason.
No, not at all. I mean, you knew the Giants really wanted DeVonta Smith if they weren't going to go get an offensive lineman. And now they're probably going to have to do that, or maybe get somebody for this defense. The Giants' war room is just completely in scrambles now. Look at Denver and Philadelphia coming out as real winners here, getting these two Alabama guys back to back. And Dallas and the Giants thought they would probably have the exact players that were just taken. So they're scrambling. Don't know what New York's now going to do, but we look ahead a little bit. This was pick number 10. New England's at 15. Do they now try to trade with the Giants, considering that they won't be able to get DeVonta Smith?
Well, I mean, look, Mac Jones isn't going to go to New York. He's not going to go to Dallas, right? So you start looking back a little bit and you figure out, okay, does someone make a trade, or is Mac Jones going to be the next Aaron Rodgers? I mean, is he someone that is going to end up being slotted way back in this draft? I don't think he gets by the Patriots. I don't think he gets by the Patriots with the 15th pick. And I think that if the Patriots are smart, and they're going to love this kind of a quarterback. They're going to want a guy who can, basically with his brain, pick your defense apart. Maybe just like Tom Brady, like when Tom Brady was taken 6th, he was a lot like what Mac Jones is. I watched him play against Alabama in the Orange Bowl. He picked them apart. He was underwhelming a little bit, and he ended up being the greatest quarterback of all time. So I'm not saying Mac Jones is going to be that guy, but he's got the potential. If he goes to New England, he'd slide right in that system and fit in well. But if say they don't take him, I don't know where he goes.
Yeah. I really thought we'd see him go in the top 10 after all the buzz and everything else. I thought that people had kind of forgotten about Trey Lance a little bit and preferred Mac Jones. But, I think the teams that probably have that mindset were the Panthers. They traded for a quarterback, and probably next would be the Patriots, and then the Steelers after that, and then the Saints after them. And, they're all picking after 15. So, maybe it's just the like you talked about earlier, it takes the right fit, the right timing. Maybe those teams are just really these 15 through 32 here. I would be absolutely stunned if Mac Jones is not a first-round pick in this draft, even if he's not a top 15. But, we're going to have to see now, because at this point, I don't think anybody really knows what's happening with these quarterbacks. What about Justin Fields, too? He's still on the board.
I just updated the draft tracker, so I'll do this periodically just to kind of, organize it from an Alabama football perspective. So, excuse me if there's any errors. I kind of did this on the fly, but this is where we're at, right? We got Jaylen Waddle, number 6 of the Dolphins. We got number 9, Patrick Surtain to Denver. And then at number 10, we got DeVonta Smith to the Eagles, right? And then everybody else is still available. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's
Well, the Chicago Bears are on the clock right now. The Bears, they could use a quarterback, so we'll keep an eye on what they do. This could be a spot for Mac Jones. And I got to throw a shout out to one of my best buddies from Alabama when I was a student, who was a huge Eagles fan. So, I can still hear my buddy Jake talking about the Eagles and going over and watching the Eagles games at Egan's, which is still an institution on the Strip, with a guy named Ashley. The guy that ran the place. He'd go over there and they'd watch all the Eagles games together. This pick would make him proud, obviously, to have a Heisman Trophy winner from Alabama as the first-round pick of the Eagles. Now we're looking at the Bears, though, man. This is a team I know a lot about. I pay close attention to Chicago sports. You guys know why. And the Bears have some needs, but they have just not been able to figure out the quarterback position. Mitch Trubisky was their quarterback. They drafted him out of North Carolina. I thought he was a really good college quarterback. Kind of reminded me of a Trey Lance type of dude, you know, but it just never really worked for the Bears. Maybe it's offensive line related. Maybe he doesn't have the receiving targets, but you know, the fans kind of grew, a little bit tiresome of him. They've gone out and they've tried to find people. Last year it was Folds. They brought him in. He didn't last. So we'll see. I mean, this could be, you know what? This could be the pick where they take a guy, like a Mac Jones. Although I think that Justin Field would be a much better fit for the Bears with his the fact that he can run, he can do, he can get out of the pocket, and we'll see. But I would not be surprised if the Chicago Bears don't take a quarterback with this pick.
So the pick is in for the Chicago Bears. I'm sure maybe you guys who are out there, maybe on Comcast, this is brought to you. It looks like it's brought to you by Pizza Hut. Actually, I just saw one of the few remaining Pizza Huts.
Oh, yeah?
Lusa is way down by Cobb Theater. And actually, this was the interesting thing about the Pizza Hut is the Pizza Hut had a drive-through. Does your local Pizza Hut have a drive-through? Is that like
mine doesn't. I don't know how that even works. Like, you're probably waiting in the drive-thru. They got to make a whole pizza, everything else.
I know, like in New Mexico, like drive-through pizzas is like that's like a normal thing.
Really?
That's why I was kind of, when I saw it, I was like, oh, this Pizza Hut has a drive-through. So if you're in Tuscaloosa, we're not sponsored by Pizza Hut unless Pizza Hut. If you're out there and you're interested to sponsor us, we would certainly take maybe a couple pies from Pizza Hut. Yeah. Not a pizza from Pizza Hut. The breadsticks, obviously, that's strong. But, make a run to Tuscaloosa's Pizza Hut and look for the drive-thru. Pick is in from Chicago.
All right, here we go, right? What are you thinking?
Man. Richard G is saying Justin Fields.
I think it's Justin Fields. I said that before.
Yeah.
I think he just fits their offense better.
Yeah.
Mac Jones is more of a drop back guy. They don't block real good, the Bears. They need somebody that's going to be able to get out of the pocket to help out their offensive line. They also regret that they didn't take the quarterback. What's his name? Watson. That is in Texas.
Deshaun
Watson. Yeah. They
that year.
So here we go. I think it is Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears 2021, even on our little bit of a delay that we have here, watching on internet television, Roger Goodell flipped the card with the NFL logo on it, and the Bears, who I think have one of the best logos in the NFL. Something's going on here. It's taking a while.
Yeah.
Drum roll.
Drum roll, please.
Pizza roll, please. Okay, we're waiting for the Bears. I'm not sure if I agree with that logo statement
on yours
by Mick.
Carlos Nelson.
Who?
I just saw the name Carlos Nelson.
I don't think they're going to be taking Carlos Nelson.
Someone's saying it's Fields. Is it Fields?
And the Bears select Carlos Nelson. Oh, great.
I was looking for photos. I was typing in Carlos Nelson. I'm like, who the hell is that?
Oh, my gosh. Maybe that's Carlos. Carlos might be just up there reading the pick. It's going to be Justin Field. I know
that dad picture for Mac Jones is starting to get back to him,
Yeah.
Man.
Well, Carlos is up there. He's got his Bears look on. He's got his orange button down with his black shirt, and they select Justin Fields of Ohio State. It's a good pick for the Bears. Look, I know that Mac Jones wanted to go before Justin Fields. He's going to be maybe the fifth quarterback selected, but you also want to go somewhere where the right fit is. And Justin Fields is a better fit for the Bears. What they're doing, that he can get out of the pocket. They don't block their quarterbacks get killed. And you know what? This guy's able to create a lot with his legs. He's a really fun player. And the Bears, you know what? I like this pick.
Look, Nick, were you look, and I'm not trying to throw any shade at Justin Fields. Were you sold on him based off his play last year?
I saw one. Look, I wasn't until I watched the Clemson game, and I watched him pick Clemson apart. And I said, okay, you know what? Just my scout hat is, you know, was he an underachiever? I don't know. Like you know, was he an overachiever? No. I mean, but, you know, he was always highly touted, but, you know, he was at Georgia. Georgia made a mistake not letting him stick around, you know, not making it to where he would stick around. And then he went to Ohio State. And I love the fact that he was one of the players that was saying, hey, Big Ten, we need to play football, you know, through COVID. But the game against Clemson, I mean, like that's probably why he's drafted here. And it really was one of the best performances that any quarterback had all season. So, but his ability to run, and they're showing a shot of him running downfield to block somebody right now. He's a difference maker with those legs. And that, you know, this is a guy that's going to really fit the Bears. I think this is going to fit the Bears system in the city. And I think it's a good pick. I like this one.
Yeah, I kind of looked at those games, though, against like Indiana and Northwestern. I mean, I think against Northwestern, he might have thrown, 3 interceptions, the same thing against Indiana. I mean, how is that going to translate to the NFL? It's probably not even going to matter. I just, you know, I wasn't sold on him. And just as I said earlier, it's probably because they didn't have an entire season. They're making comparisons to Dak Prescott, which I think is an incredible comparison. So, I mean, if you're in the same caliber or they think you're going to be in that mindset, you know, then credit to him. So I guess we'll just have to see. But like you said, you know, I think he's going to do well for the Bears. And I think all of these quarterbacks, I think we kind of go to that number 3 pick in Trey Lance. That may be, you know, one of the bigger question marks going forward is how does playing at North Dakota State translate to playing on Sundays? I guess time will tell. And now we're just waiting on, you know, the next quarterback, which should be Mac Jones.
Yeah, right. Jones is really the last guy that I think we have a lot of, you know, I guess question marks around. We knew Najee Harris was going to get disrespected, was probably going to go somewhere late in this first round. It's looking like, you know, he's probably going to go at number 24 to the Steelers. You know, maybe even number 18 to the Dolphins isn't out of the realm of possibility. But Mac Jones, you know, really still has the question mark surrounding him. I'm baffled at this point. We've seen 4 quarterbacks go, and one of them isn't Mac Jones. Yeah. It's, you know, no disrespect to Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or Trey Lance or Trevor Lawrence, obviously. But, you know, I really do think that Mac Jones is one of the top 3, if not top 2, maybe even the best quarterback available based off of the numbers, based off of what we've seen him been able to do. Trevor Lawrence, that's going to be your number 1 pick. He's just so much more projectable and has all the tools and is dual threat as well. But after that, you know, it's hard to sit here and look at the numbers, look at what Justin Fields has done. And, you know, look at the fact that Trey Lance played at North Dakota State, and the fact that Zach Wilson played at BYU and went to Coastal Carolina this year and lost that football game. And, you know, to look at Mac Jones being a Heisman finalist, winning the national title with a few more tools, yes, but, you know, still just being money all season long. It's really hard to think we're looking at pick number 12 here from the Dallas Cowboys. They're not going to take him. And, you know, he's still on the board.
Yep. You got the Cowboys, and then you got the Chargers, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the Chargers situation at quarterback? Phillip Rivers left, right? But then
Justin Herbert balled out.
So they're solid.
Yeah, I mean,
they're in a good spot there.
I mean, he's one of the top quarterbacks returning. Yeah, so
I mean, he's
a great spot.
Yeah, they're sold on him, that was kind of my thing with Aaron Rodgers at first. It was like maybe, you know, they try to figure out a trade there or something like that. But you know, I think they're going to stick it out with Justin Herbert here. They won't draft a quarterback at least. And then, you know, after that, it's the Minnesota Vikings, I believe still it is. You know, do they maybe try to figure something out at quarterback?
So, hey, we want to hear from you inside the comment box right now. Do you think Mac Jones is going to go to the New England Patriots? Sound off in the comment box. New England Patriots up in a couple picks, so we want to hear from you. Pick is in from the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, here we go. They traded out of their 10th pick because Patrick Surtain got taken before them by the goes. So they ended up with the 12th overall pick and a 3rd round pick in the draft too. So that's a good deal for going 2 picks. And of course the Eagles just took DeVonta Smith, and for Dallas, they're going to be dealing with DeVonta Smith. They're going to wish they hadn't made that trade. Maybe if Smitty does what we know he can do.
Who is this picking for who is up here with Roger Goodell? It has like a 49ers ensemble kind of going on, right? It's like this, like the red and the gold. I'm not listening to it. In fact, I can barely see it because on our YouTube TV, it shrunk down. I'm serious. Like it shrunk down the formatted version. So it's like watching a phone on the TV.
Yeah.
Here's the pick.
This one is not going to be related to Alabama in any way. I'm sure they're going to take a defender. And
man, Dallas Cowboys. I feel sorry for the Cowboys.
I think this will be someone that we never heard of before.
Who was our guy? Carlito? What? A little while ago.
He was the guy that was the special guest, though. That's
okay.
Yeah,
I was trying to look up the photo for Carlito's Way or whatever it was. Okay.
They're getting into a lot of stuff here. They need to just make a pick and move on, right?
Oh, you know what would be crazy is Mac Jones and Damian Harris. Remember. There was that weird thing where like Mac Jones said that Damian Harris was his dad.
Yeah, that's right.
And Damian said it was his son, and they could be reunited in New England.
They could have the father-son bond as Micah Parsons.
They could. Oh, hey, look, this is a great pick for the Cowboys. Micah Parsons?
No, yeah, the Penn State linebacker. I mean, this was really, really nice pick.
Yeah, no, this is a big time pick right here. Nicely done.
Oh yeah, I thought maybe Zaven Collins would go in that 12th spot there to the Cowboys. I think he's going to slide back a little further now at this point.
This is a very good pick.
But really, a really good pick there. Micah Parsons from Penn State. Opted out, another guy that opted out in 2020.
Yeah,
so he's ready to get back to it.
Yeah, well, they're celebrating. Chargers are on the clock now. And, Dallas will also get another pick in the 3rd round for trading back. And, we're kind of eyeballing that 15 pick right now. As far as our show's concerned and Bama Insider, and as you guys hang out with us tonight, and I know there's a lot of you that are here, thumbs up and subscribe to the Bama Insider YouTube channel. We do a lot of this stuff. Kyle's always on during game days with our parties. We got shows that come on every single day. We got videos of anything Alabama for you guys to watch on here. And then if you want to keep track of recruiting, Andrew Bone does that for us, best in the business. You can find his work at BamaInsider.com. Tony Tsoukalos is our beat writer, and he's busy slaving away right now, writing stories about the fact that Mac Jones hasn't been picked, but he's got a lot of other guys to write about. Wow, man, this is crazy.
So I guess when we kind of look to this beginning part of the draft, and I'll bring up the draft tracker that we have, and this is just for Alabama players specifically because we cover Alabama. I think what is the biggest surprise? Obviously, just Mac Jones, right? I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, we really thought after, and this is the crazy thing. I think if you had told us even at the end of the season, or even like November, Mac Jones is potentially going to be a top 10 pick, that'll kind of be the consensus going into the draft. I wouldn't have believed you because people still weren't sold. But after what's happened these last few months leading up to the draft, it really looked like he would be taken in the top 10. Continues to slide. Najee Harris not being taken yet. No surprises at all. Landon Dickerson, Christian Barmore, all these guys will be taken later on in this draft. We'll see, if they get taken in the first round here. I think Najee's going to be taken in the first round. But Mac Jones still being around at number now 12 or number 13 to the Chargers. This is a little bit different than I think we expected.
I look at this for Mac, though. If he ends up in New England, from the very beginning, I've said that would be the best spot for him. He did not want to go to Chicago. They don't block. The fan base is ridiculous when it comes to the expectations that they have for that one position. And it's been kind of a dead end for quarterbacks for a long time. Now, the Patriots, it doesn't matter who they put at quarterback, they win. You got it set up where you don't have to go in day one and be expected to win football games. You get there, you play a little bit behind Cam Newton, and then 3 or 4 games in, you take over and it's your show for a while, right? wow, this is interesting. If they don't take Mac with that pick, then I'm guessing they're going to make a move to try to get Jimmy Garoppolo from the 49ers. You know, rumors were that Bill Belichick never really wanted to trade him in the first place.
Yeah. That would be crazy if they went out and got, Jimmy G back to New England.
That would be
big time. And then we're left with Trey Lance, and then the 49ers are, I guess we'd have to see how it went. I mean, it's hard to say, but I mean, the way that the 49ers shoved Nick Mullins down, our throats last year was rough. I didn't think Nick Mullins deserved to be in the NFL. And man, they played him as much as they could, and they had Beathard on the sidelines, and he could move the sticks a little bit, but the Niners didn't feel the same way as me, who was watching the game from the couch. So, I guess that's how it goes. So the next pick is you got the Chargers, and you got the AP Offensive Rookie of the Year. And that's Justin Herbert, right? Did a fantastic job coming out of Oregon. And who will they pick, and to kind of build onto that? I guess we'll have to see. And then, of course, you kind of look at our draft board right here. You have Mac Jones still available, Christian Barmore, Najee Harris, all those guys kind of floating, not necessarily floating. I think Jones and Barmore certainly going to go in the first round. I think Najee, we're trying to figure out, if he's going to be a first round pick. I certainly think he will. He should be.
Yeah.
Will he be? I don't know. How it is with running backs. I think the last running back to be taken in the first round from Alabama was Josh Jacobs, and look how that worked out for the Raiders. Right. I mean, wasn't he the Offensive Rookie of the Year? The first, he was great.
Yeah. What do you think? Like that Mac Jones's agent is telling him. One of the best agents I remember is a guy named Jerry Maguire, right? And Jerry was trying to show everyone the money. No, I'm just kidding. But
show me the money.
Right now, I'm sure that Mac's agent is probably just trying to keep him calm, because I'm sure he expected to be that third pick to the 49ers. And then after that, it's not that it just hasn't unfolded for him since then.
No,
yeah, I mean,
I think that, sorry to interrupt, Trey. I think Mac's calm and cool. I mean, look, he's going to go in the first round of the NFL draft. I mean, he's, whether that's minutes, an hour away from being, a millionaire, it's going to happen. And now, do you want to go to the 49ers? Possibly, but you got Jimmy Garoppolo there, right? I mean, if he goes to New England, like you said, Mick, like Cam Newton, is Cam Newton really going to be the guy by season's end? Potentially, probably, the chances are not, right? So you kind of look to things could be working out a little bit better for Mac Jones in the long run. Plus, he gets to link up with his good buddy Damian Harris. We've seen a lot of good connections tonight. You got DeVonta Smith going on to play with Jalen Hurts, and then you got my favorite, Jaylen Waddle playing with Tua. That is amazing.
That's
those guys. I mean, I bet you they're already throwing passes tonight.
Oh, definitely. I mean, they're going to get right to it. This has really been a fun draft so far, if you think about it like that. Just all the guys, even, we don't talk about LSU as much or care for them as much necessarily, but it's going to be so cool to see Joe Burrow get a link back up with Jamar Chase. And we're seeing a lot of that around the board here. Not nearly as many offensive tackles taken. Looking back, I need to check out the list here, but I thought we would see at least maybe 2 or 3 taken earlier on here. And I think we're still waiting on Penei Sewell to be taken. I missed the Detroit pick. I don't know if he was taken there at number 7 or not. But if not, that's an interesting one. And then you look down a little bit, you got Rashawn Slater as well from Northwestern. He still hasn't been taken. That really could be the pick right here. It's a little bit more boring to talk about these offensive linemen and whatever else. But, this is an area the Chargers need to address now. So you look at it, Washington is coming up after Miami there. Those 3 picks really interest me. Really, those 2 picks, the Miami, Washington, because that is where we could see Najee Harris really start to get his name in the mix for the first time. Not necessarily taken at number 18, but that's when we're going to start to hear his name come up. I think Pittsburgh's more realistic for him. You look around the board, still guys that are available. For the first round, I think you're probably just looking at 2 more. 3 in a perfect world. Christian Barmore goes at maybe 31 or 32. And then everybody else is going to be over the weekend here. We look at it. What do you guys think about Dylan Moses? Where is he going to end up? This is the guy that probably would have gone in the first round if he had decided to declare earlier. Maybe not. But definitely lost some stock this past season. Where do you guys see him ending up?
I don't know. I mean, I think he played most of the season hurt, and he's going to be a really good NFL player. But I don't know. That's a really good question. I mean, like maybe third round, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
If he might not get drafted. I mean, really, or he could end up. I think second round's probably as high as he'd go, and maybe it just depends. I mean, like you do a lot of that. It depends on what they think of his medicals too. If they think that he's going to be able to get back to full health, they'd be fools not to take him because potentially he could be a difference maker in the NFL. All right, guys, we have the Chargers pick coming in. Really interested to see what this is. Do you think maybe they need an offensive lineman? Alex Leatherwood, Landon Dickerson. Maybe they want a little bit of a pass rush. Christian Barmore. They could always running back.
Penei Sewell. He's already.
No, I appreciate the comments there. I guess he went at number 7 to Detroit while we were getting those audio deals figured out here. But you saw a stat just come up here. 4 out of their 6 picks last year, the Chargers, were offensive picks. I think they maybe go defense here. Probably not as an exciting pick, though, with this one to Los Angeles.
Here's a message from Jalen Hurts via social media. Said, running back, my boy, you deserve all it, brother. Congrats. Let's go get it at DeVonta Smith. I mean, what's Tua thinking? Maybe Tua made that call.
Yeah. Rashawn Slater, the offensive tackle out of Northwestern, taken there at number 13. Not a surprise at all.
No.
Yeah,
You
He's got to protect your quarterback.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially the guy that had that lung deal last year with his ribs and everything else. He's a little bit injury prone, so I like that pick a lot.
All right, who we got next?
We got the Minnesota Vikings and then the Patriots. The Patriots, that's the one I'm circling right here.
Okay, so we got the Vikings. Okay, so the Vikings got Irv Smith on the squad. I'm trying to think of other guys who are on the Vikings. The Vikings, by the way, I mean, I'm sure you guys, everybody knows, but probably one of the top stadiums now in the NFL.
Yeah, beautiful.
Amazing. I would love to go check it out.
They're not in the dome anymore?
They have a new dome. It's like a state of the art. I mean, I think it might have just got built in 2019. I want to say.
Just kidding. I knew that. But you remember that old dome they played in?
Well, the old one, if you guys remember the snow that one day made it like collapse or whatever, the roof line caved in. So that thing had all kinds of problems. But
was it the Twins that they played? Didn't they have like the hefty bag, Mick? Was it like the hefty bag in the back? And that was with the Kirby Puckett, right?
Yeah, that's it, man. Kirby Puckett.
And they had like it was like a trash bag, like in the back of the fence. I remember playing that on King.
I mean, the Twins had a great home field advantage, and
the OT doesn't like this pick. He's like, bad pick.
I don't know anything about this guy. I didn't watch Northwestern play any football games.
No, the Northwestern defense, they were good. They were super bad. They forced a few turnovers on Justin Fields, who we were just talking about.
I like that guy's jacket, though. The bigger guy, it might be his dad clapping. If you're watching on the ESPN feed, that blue checker, it kind of matches his son's, but he's got the whole suit with the checks.
I have to see it again. We're watching highlights of him going against Chase Young right here, and kind of breaking it down from a schematic standpoint. So we got the Vikings are up next, and then the Patriots, and then I guess we'll just we'll see how we're feeling. How are you guys feeling in time? I mean, we've been on for 2 hours and some change, so maybe let's get past. Mac Jones said we
to 15. I think that's. I feel like that's really the anticipation has been building for this 15th pick. Everybody in the comments is leaning here. I think New England. We're leaning New England as well. If he's not taken by New England, the lid's off the jar. I mean, I absolutely
he's Rodgers, unfortunately, right?
Yeah. For everyone out there, Mick is actually standing up. He's been standing up this whole time. There's one of those standing desks where he's actually on a treadmill right now.
Yeah,
this guy is a workout warrior. He's working right now.
I'm trying to learn another language on the side.
He's got like the version of a Peloton, but it's walking, so you can like walk through the woods.
Man. So, all right, I'm just gonna go through this real quick. All right, so we got the Vikings up now, then the Patriots, then the Cardinals, then the Raiders. So if Mac doesn't get picked, the just trade up to get that 14th pick? Yes, they
There
did.
you go. They're going after Mac Jones.
Well, they got Zach Wilson at number 2 here, so
They're loading up on quarterbacks.
let's stockpile. Let's get the depth chart going crazy. I wonder why they trade here. I mean, who really would you be trading for at the spot? Maybe you try to go get Zaven Collins, the linebacker, or Greg Newsome, one of these cornerbacks. I really don't know. Probably somebody.
What are the Jets thinking? Sound off in the comment box.
You know what? I'm guessing that you go after. You try to find playmakers at this point, right? I mean, do you trade up to get? Maybe you try to get a weapon for the brand new quarterback that you just drafted, or maybe an offensive lineman too. Like you want to protect that guy. I think you go if you're going in like this, you're going all offense here. I would be shocked if they take somebody on the defensive side of the ball, but that could happen.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting.
How about that?
These trades have really, I think we're going to look at this one and be like, oh, okay, I get the idea there. They've really made sense so far to this point, but this one's a little bit different.
Well, let me finish what I was telling you guys. All right, so you got this is now you have the Jets, then the Patriots, then Arizona. They got a quarterback. Then the Raiders. Maybe they want to get someone. I mean, they got Carr, so they do have a quarterback. Then the Dolphins, right? Then Washington. And then the Giants traded all the way back to 20 after they got jumped by the Eagles.
I'm trying to find see what Yahoo Sports has on their draft tracker.
Funny.
This is it's such a funny night because I feel like there's so many different ways to watch this and track it and everything else. And at the end of the day, you look back at these mock drafts and some of them are accurate, but it's just the nature of this thing. You really have no idea what's going to happen. The trades come into play, everything else. The Aaron Rodgers news, I really thought would shake this draft up a little bit more than it has so far. I thought we'd see a team in the top 10 trade their pick to get Aaron Rodgers. But no, the Broncos stick it out. They could get Patrick Surtain. We see the trades then start to really unfold there with the Cowboys and the Eagles and everybody else. And, overall, I think if you're an Alabama fan, you're a little disappointed after that top 5, but you look back and you got, 3 guys going in the top 10 there and, just piling on, really starting to catch some momentum. So let's hope it keeps rolling here. Mac Jones is still on the board. This is pick number 14 by the Jets. I think he goes at 15 next. And then you start to look to Najee Harris. He goes maybe 18 or to the Steelers there in the 20s, maybe the Saints. But, overall, I think you feel pretty positive you're an Alabama fan because you're going.
Let's recap the draft real quick while we wait for the commercial break. So we got number 1, Trevor Lawrence, right? The draft grade, obviously, an A. This is courtesy of Yahoo Sports. These nice little breakdown cards. Then you got Zach Wilson out of BYU, number 2. They gave him a B-. This is, from Yahoo Sports, 6'2", 214 pounds. They didn't like that pick. Trey Lance went to the 49ers out of North Dakota State. They gave him a B. Pre-draft rank, that was a 6, 6'4", 224-pound prospect. Then Kyle Pitts, it's got to be an A, 6'6", 245 pounds out of Florida, going to Atlanta, loading up on the offense. Cincinnati Bengals went with Jamar Chase at number 5. The grade was an A-. Pre-draft grade was a 3. Then you go with the Miami Dolphins. Got to go with the A-. Interesting with the minus, but Jaylen Waddle linking up with Tua Tagovailoa. He was a 6th pick and the first player drafted from Alabama. Then you had Penei Sewell, round 1, pick 7, B+ out of Oregon, 6'5", 331 pounds. Then you got the Carolina Panthers with J.C. Horn, the 8th pick. He's a 6'1", 205-pound prospect. He was the first corner taken. And then right after that, it was Patrick Surtain, the 2nd B+ grade. Going to Denver to link up with Jerry Jeudy, and I'm sure he's going to work on his craft there. Continue to going against Jerry Jeudy, and then right after that, it was the Heisman Trophy winner was DeVonta Smith going number 10 overall to the Philadelphia Eagles. Where he will link up with Jalen Hurts. And then you got Justin Fields going to the Bears at pick 11. Pick 12, it was Micah Parsons from Penn State going to Dallas. I really like that pick for the Cowboys, even though Yahoo Sports gave him a B-. I like Parsons. I think that's a really good pick. Let's see, number 13, it was Rashawn Slater going to the Chargers. And this is where we're at right now. We got the Vikings coming up. Then you got the New England Patriots. Patriots, a lot of people feeling that Mac Jones could be linking up with Bill Belichick and former running back and his good friend Damian Harris. And then you got the Arizona Cardinals, Las Vegas Raiders, then the Dolphins again at 18. Najee Harris, paging Najee. Could you imagine? You got the Washington football team. They're still looking for a mascot. Speaking of mascots, Mick, Washington football. Maybe they can do the Rollskins, right? I don't think people would be mad with that. Or what about the Washington Crimson Tide? They've drafted 6 under the Saban era.
Right.
You got the Giants. You got the Colts. You got the Titans. You got more Vikings, Steelers, Jaguars, Browns, Ravens, Saints, and so on and so on. So that's kind of where we are. And let me see if I can find where we're at again on the screen.
The picks in, by the way, with the Jets, we'll know momentarily who they traded up for. They gave the Vikings their 23rd pick and 2 third-rounders to move up. They got this pick and another pick. So,
okay,
selection right here. This is interesting. When you're a bad franchise like the Jets, you normally don't want to give up numbers unless you really feel like moving up in the draft is going to make a big difference in your future. And they took Vera-Tucker.
Wow.
Okay, Vera-Tucker. All right, okay.
So they went offensive line, and I mean, like, it makes sense, right? I mean, you want to, when you go out and you get a quarterback, that was a mistake that the Bengals made last year. You want to protect the guy, and you go out and you get someone, this guy Elijah Vera-Tucker, who they feel like is a difference maker, that he's going to be able to help them build their offensive line around Zach Wilson, their new quarterback. And I think that's a fair move. I mean, that's a good move. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. When we saw the Lions take an offensive lineman, you start to win football games in the trenches. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, you can have all the skill players you want, but if you're bad on the offensive line, they're never going to be able to do anything. So a good pick for the Jets, and it shows that they have an idea of what they're doing right now. They're going offense.
Who's our best, most fluent reader? Someone want to break this down from Yahoo Sports? It's right here. But before we get to that, USC. Man, I love the guards. They one thing that they do, they produce quarterbacks and they produce very good guards. I've always been, a big fan of, their offensive line. I think they have these really athletic guards and tackles. And as you can see right here from Yahoo Sports, the draft grade is a B. Pre-draft grade was a 13. They have some notes and nuggets on him, and he is pick number 14, a New England Patriots, and the pick is in.
The pick's already in. So, all right, guys, what do you think? I mean, Mac Jones has got to go to the Patriots right here. This could be the best pick that he could have. And I know he's been sitting there looking at his cell phone. Jerry Maguire's been in his ear. He's going to show him the money. Look, this could be what you want in your future.
This is it. No, I mean, like you're saying, Mick, if there was a team, I think San Francisco would have been the ideal fit just because they're a little bit more prepared to make the playoffs, win a Super Bowl this year. But outside of that, I mean, you go from coaching, playing under Nick Saban to now getting coached by Bill Belichick. If he is selected here, I don't know, how much better it could get. This kid is going to really know how to play the game, and he already does. And it's not even about, him being the most flashy guy or being the guy that's going to, wow you with his abilities at all times, like a Justin Fields or a Trevor Lawrence would. But he is the guy that's going to be consistent. And that's what's, got New England so much success, is consistency at that position and the ability to throw it downfield and work with what you have. I think, this New England team is definitely going to need to make some other moves, bolster up a little bit before this season. But regardless, they're going to be in a really good spot if they take Mac Jones, as Roger Goodell now steps to the podium.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's happening. I think we just saw Mac Jones actually get the text that he's going to be selected. I don't know that for sure, but this could be the perfect combination right here. And as Roger Goodell steps up, the Patriots didn't need a lot of time to figure out who they were taking with their selection. They definitely need a quarterback. Of course, before we get to that, we're going to read a lot of different cards. And since we don't have the volume on, we don't know what they're talking about.
Our friends who are ahead of us are saying that it's Mac Jones.
It's Mac Jones, yeah. This is, and what's crazy is that
there we go, Mac Jones too.
Yeah, is that this is the perfect pick for Mac Jones. Look, money-wise, he would have gotten a lot more money if he was the 3rd pick instead of the 15th pick. If he would have been taken by the Bears or if he would have been taken by the Jets, he would have got his head beat in, just like Joe Burrow last year. The Patriots are going to protect him. They're not going to make him go out there and win football games. They're going to let him learn how to do his job. And just like at Alabama, when these guys come in and they play quarterback, it's not on their shoulders to win. It's on their shoulders to be a good quarterback. And what we saw with Mac, which was different than Tua, who we love, Kyle, is that Mac made better decisions every single play. And I'm sure that's one of the reasons why this guy is going to be the real heir apparent now to Tom Brady in New England. Great pick.
Well, look at this blurb right here by Yahoo Sports. It says Jones is now Bill Belichick's highest drafted quarterback ever.
Wow.
And with that wild result, Jones might not be great, but he could be in a perfect setup at New England. As we talked about earlier, the quarterback currently leading the Patriots is Cam Newton. I think, just as I asked you guys earlier, do you think that Cam Newton's going to be the quarterback by season's end? And I think when you look to, and I think we all agreed that he's probably not going to be, right? And then when you look to the 49ers, is Jimmy Garoppolo going to be the quarterback by season's end? I would say probably. If he can stay healthy, I'm going to say yes, right? So it looks like Trey Lance is kind of more, going to be in the waiting. But I think with Mac Jones and getting to what you guys were talking about, the efficiency and how he was so productive last year, throwing for 4,500 yards, right? What he was able to do under these NFL-style offensive coordinators was really incredible. And right here, you see him kind of stepping up in the pocket and displaying his ability to read coverages and how he waited his time at Alabama. Alabama loves those guys that sit in the system, wait, played behind Tua Tagovailoa, the quarterback with the Miami Dolphins, played behind Jalen Hurts, now the quarterback with the Philadelphia Eagles, and now he is a member of the New England Patriots.
I mean, how crazy billboard for this university to think that, he waited as a freshman, he waited as a sophomore, waited as a junior, didn't even know if he would have the position as a senior, battling against a freshman, gets it, is a Heisman finalist, has a perfect season, wins the national title, and is now taken in the first round of the draft. Incredible story for Mac Jones and really for this university and this football program for what could happen if you just wait your turn.
Well, the Patriots, the other thing that they do and that Bill Belichick has continuously found is players that get the game of football. And I remember hearing a story about, hey, you tell Mac Jones a play one time and it just is in there, like he just has the ability to recall 10, plays. And that's what makes him such a great fit for New England. I mean, like this is just such a good pick, I think, for the Patriots and for Mac Jones too. Like this is, and I'm wondering, like, the Patriots were probably sweating it out. That we kept hearing rumors that maybe they were going to go with Justin Fields. Justin Fields is a much better pick for the Bears. And Mac Jones, who's a drop back quarterback, needs a good offensive line, needs a running game. And when you give him those things, we saw it. He can absolutely command an offense and win football games. I mean, this is exciting. I mean, I felt bad for him kind of lingering, waiting around, but good things come to those who wait. And we've definitely found that out in his career, whether it be on the scout team as quarterback and eventually the starter at Alabama, now, waiting 15 picks to go to New England.
And I mean, 15 picks. I mean, we're like, man, he had to go 15.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy went in the first round. He went before number 20. If you go in the first round, in my opinion, it's pretty good, especially if you go to the New England Patriots, kind of the track record. I think in that Yahoo blurb, I can't believe that he's the highest quarterback that New England's drafted. But then again, Tom Brady was there for how long? 13, 15 27 years, whatever it was. So, Mac Jones, maybe that stat isn't that surprising, but still getting a chance to go compete for what I feel is going to be a starting job by midseason. Mac Jones, with that incredible season, I think we're all going to remember posting a perfect 13-0 season at Alabama.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun. I mean, really, there's a lot of drama in this draft tonight. We didn't really know what to expect. We all thought that Mac Jones would be the first Alabama player taken with the third pick. Obviously, he wasn't. We though have paired up a lot of Alabama players with former teammates in the NFL, and so we're giving Alabama fans a big selection of teams to cheer for. Right. So now you got the combination of Tua and Waddle down in Miami. Maybe you like the Eagles. Maybe you want to watch the 4:00 game, right? Maybe that's the Eagles. you got Jalen Hurts, and you got the Slim Reaper, right? And maybe you want to watch a little Patriots football. Now you got Mac Jones and Damian Harris. I mean, come on, man. Everywhere you turn, there's this Alabama quarterback with a skill position guy connection. And that's made this a lot of fun. I tell you what, just for what we do, as Zaven Collins was just selected by the Cardinals, a linebacker out of Tulsa that we've never really seen. It's just what a good time tonight, guys. So let me get your final thoughts, and then I'll wrap things up. We're closing on 3 hours, but this has been a lot of fun, man. This is what Bama Insider is all about. When we do these parties, it's good times. Trey, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I love everything that I've had the chance to do here at Bama Insider. But I think this is my favorite thing, just being able to sit down and really, take it all in as it's coming and break it down in real time. And, this draft has had some twists and turns. I think the trades there in the late, 10 through 12, that was really one of the most fun parts of this thing, to see, a team inside of a division go up and grab an Alabama player over another team in their division. Just a really cool draft. And, Mac Jones, we thought he was going to go higher than 15. I don't think he cares. I don't think it's going to matter in the long run. And this is a perfect fit for him. My final thought, Nick Saban has now had 37 players taken in the first round. It's not even over yet. There could be more. We'll see how that shakes out. But this dominance just continues to roll here at the high school level in recruiting. Obviously, here in Tuscaloosa and at the NFL level as well. Great night for Alabama.
Trey, when do you graduate?
I graduate tomorrow, actually, at 3 o'clock.
Congratulations, friend.
That's the grind right there. This could be maybe he will be at Innisfree as soon as he gets out of the door. I don't know. It's only 9:30. I'm like, got to get the kids to bed. Trey's like, got to hit the streets.
That's been started.
You go to Innisfree, go tell Tripp over there that you're graduating. He'll probably hook you up with a free drink,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, congratulations, Trey. And it's been a lot of fun, working with you this football season. Kyle, final thoughts on tonight's draft?
I mean, you look at kind of the NFL draft tracker for Alabama, and the wide receivers taken off the board. Jaylen Waddle going to the Dolphins, linking up with Tua, and then DeVonta linking up with Jalen Hurts. And think about the last 2 NFL drafts. You've had guys from Alabama that are wide receivers. You had 4 total go in the first round. Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, Jaylen Waddle, DeVonta Smith. It's really incredible to see what Alabama continues to do at that wide receiver position. Of course, Mac Jones going to the Patriots, I think, is a very interesting storyline. Same with Patrick Surtain. And even though we're closing out, we're still going to be following it. There's still plenty of picks in the first round. I wouldn't be surprised to see Najee Harris go off the board. I think that will be some really exciting news. I wish it would have happened a little bit sooner. But good things, not sooner in the draft, but, earlier in the night. I mean, we're already pushing 9:30. But Najee Harris, I think, is certainly a guy that can contribute on day one. And then Christian Barmore, we're all kind of keeping tabs on him. So more coverage at BamaInsider.com. Tony Sukal is going to have you covered with everything you need. And we appreciate you, plain and simple. I say it on every single video. It's not just something I say. It's something that I mean. We appreciate you more than you know. Definitely hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. And thanks for being a part of the BamaInsider.com family tonight. I had a ton of fun with these guys. And Mick, why don't you close it out, man?
Yeah, well, a couple things. I got to thank you, Kyle, for giving me this opportunity, man. I'm going to step aside for a couple months here and do baseball, but, man, I've had a great time. I mean, people you don't even know, you see us coming on here and cutting up, and this is how it always is. I mean, we have our staff meetings, and it's like, if we're not careful, we'll just sit here and talk about stuff that has nothing to do with whatever's going on. We just enjoy being around each other, and that's what makes this channel good. And I mean, definitely I stepped into an all-star lineup when, I got to come over and hang out with Andrew Bone and Kyle and Trey and, Tony. And it's been a lot of fun, man. So I appreciate that, and tonight was just another great night of this magical season. This season could not have gone any better. We didn't even know we were going to have football. And then we had football, and then the team won, and then the recruiting was great. We were on the air for like 18 hours doing recruiting on National Signing Day, #1 class, right? Then we had the 8A game stuff. That was great, and then we've had this, and there's going to be a lot more recruiting with Andrew Bone and everything else that we cover here. So I had a great time tonight, guys. And Kyle, again, thank you for the opportunity, and we'll get together real soon. But make sure you guys keep watching. You're going to have Andrew Bone, who's going to cover everything. You can watch it here on the Bama Insider YouTube channel. And don't forget to go and subscribe to BamaInsider.com, because Tony and Kyle and Andrew they constantly fill that site up with different information that you're going to want. So again, a great night for Alabama. Waddle became a Dolphin tonight. Smitty, a big trade brought him to Philadelphia to reconnect him with Jalen Hurts. We had Patrick Surtain, maybe the surprise of the entire draft so far, when he was taken by the Broncos and not the Cowboys. And then justifiably so, right? Nick Saban, the protege quarterback for Nick Saban, goes to his old buddy Bill Belichick in New England, and Mac Jones is going to be the guy that takes over now for Tom Brady for real, not just picking up a guy off the street. This is the guy that they're going to groom to be the next quarterback. Thanks for watching, guys, and have a great night. Roll Tide.